hear me? Hello, Mayavi? Your audio is not coming. Can you refresh it? See if the mic is choosing.
Hello, hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. I will turn off.
Is it live?
No, we are not live.
It will be a pre-recorded interview, right?
No, we are going to do it in the live.
Okay. Go inside different. No, I can't. Can you please go inside? Like, go to get after doing it. Can I see the cam? Guys, please close the door.
Yeah, hello.
Can I see the cam?
I can't show you. Yes, so you can hear me. Okay. Bro, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So,
everyone can hear each other, right? Ashiro can hear the guest.
you want me to see something?
1 second. No. You guys are fine.
Okay.
Is everyone in here? Okay, everyone is here. We have 5 minutes. After the countdown, we will go to 3 minutes chat session. Once it's done, we will switch to the interview. Yes, directly.
Naveen, is it only me for the interview or you had already taken interview prior?
No, this is a live interview. All are going live. No record.
Okay. So we have a 5 minutes countdown, right?
Yeah, 5 minutes countdown and 3 minutes chat.
Okay, I'll be back. Okay.
Ariman, can you hear me? Your audio is not.
Yeah, Malash.
Guys, can you hear the casters?
Not actually, Naveen.
1 second. Okay, guys, throw the question. Ratano. Now Maya can hear you.
It obviously feels great. We've been working towards this vision for a few months. I mean, a few years actually. Players working very hard, the management working very hard. So it feels good to finally see that, being the fruit of all the effort that's being put in behind the scenes. And hoping that this is just the beginning, and we're going to go a lot further from here. Hopefully, we can keep this up and keep up the consistency in with both our teams moving forward. With the effort is all going to be there. We're going to try our best. You're also going to see some surprises in the team, and hoping for the best. We're going to try and go win that title.
देखिए एक टाइम पे एक काम किया जा सकता है। बहुत से लोग इस चीज़ का भी मैसेज किया कर रहे थे कि आप कास्टिंग में कब वापसी करेंगे। तो डेस्क के उस साइड का एक्सपीरियंस मैंने कर लिया ऑलरेडी। लाइफ में हर तरीके के एक्सपीरियंस होने चाहिए। तो अब डेस्क के इस साइड का एक्सपीरियंस भी मुझे एक बार करना था। एक टीम बनाई थी राइजिंग स्टार्स की, जैसे हम हमेशा डेस्क के उस पार से स्काउट किया करते थे एंड कुछ अच्छे प्लेयर्स को ढूंढ के एक लाइनअप बनाई, पूरी जी जान से मेहनत करी एंड इस बार क्वालिफाई करना था। बहुत ट्राई हार्ड किया था। Lobby was way too tough, competition was way too high, but quarters, then semis, and now we are in the finals and looking forward to it. Let's win it this time. देखिए कैप्टन, जैसे हम स्कूल जाते हैं तो वो पेंसिल से पेन पे स्विच करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है स्टेबलाइज होने में। आई थिंक इससे बेहतर एग्जांपल नहीं रहेगा किसी भी एक अंडरडॉग प्लेयर के लिए जब वो डायरेक्ट टी1 कम्युनिटी के टीम्स के साथ compete करते हैं। तो वो थोड़ा सा स्टार्टिंग में स्टेबलाइज होने का टाइम चाहिए था, बट आई एम रियली प्राउड कि मेरे प्लेयर्स ने बहुत जल्दी उस चीज को समझ लिया, अडाप्ट कर लिया एंड जैसे कि आपने बताया कि कमबैक हमारी हमेशा लास्ट के फेजेस में ही आई है। इस बार शायद हम स्टार्टिंग से डोमिनेट करने की कोशिश करेंगे ग्रैंड फाइनल्स में।
Thank you, Spiro. Thank you, Captain, for this wonderful opportunity. Good to see you guys again at the desk. Coming to the team part, it has been a little rough ride, I would say, from BGIS stage. I have taken a team in the month of December, so it's just been couple of months. Even I'm studying them. Been assisted by my cousin who is currently looking after the BGMI lineup personally. So yeah, this is I think a stage where we would experiment whatever we want to do. Synergy wise, it is good, but in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the adaptation that all these strong teams are showing us right now in India, it would be a little uphill task, I would say. But team is prepared for this Grand Slam, and we are ready to go.
Have them on your radar to actually watch out for?
Esports from day one has always been that grassroots, underdog development. I would say agency. It's not a tournament organizer for me. It was never a tournament organizer for me. Take it any game, let it be in the Valorant, Free Fire, Call of Duty Mobile, Real Cricket or this one. It has always been a base for any team without any kind of identity to come and prove themselves on this, massive stage. And Nugget has done really good, play. They've played really good games in the last few matches. I happened to see a couple of them, and me and our analyst, we were talking about them as such. Not really into this thing, but yeah, I mean, there are a lot of teams that if I name a few, then we're going to have some issues. So I would refrain from doing that. But on the topic of Nugget, yes, that is one team that we have to look out for.
वेल संतोष सर, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा, 7C इंडिया की टॉप टीम्स में से आती है. आप अभी अपनी टीम के बारे में क्या फील कर रहे हैं एंड कैसी तैयारी है आपकी स्काई स्पोर्ट्स ग्रैंड स्लैम के लिए?
Well, we want to keep it very simple because we just came from BGIS. The idea is that the players are pretty much exhausted. Currently, nobody's in the boot camp. Everybody's playing from their home. But competitive-wise, the analysts and the coaches, they've been more or less discussing what are the rotations and the strategies that we're going to implement. So it could be a new rotations that we would be seeing today that we planned after looking at some of the changes the teams have made in the past. So basing on that, even we are also trying a new player today for the first time and to showcase what kind of adaptation the game is going to be. In coming to the team performance, yeah, we are currently happy with what the team is going through so far. We understand Sky Esports is always a very important tournament for us, and it is also a stepping stone for the upcoming tournaments and also for the Asian Games. So we want to make sure that we will give our 100% focus, and of course, match by match, we will discuss what we're gonna do next, and we will try to implement our strategies accordingly.
Well, that is just amazing. And इसके साथ साथ मेरा जो अगला सवाल आपके लिए रहने वाला है संतोष सर कि I hope you're very very aware. In fact, I think you all are aware कि Sky Sports has already announced the roadmap for 2022 and it's going to be a lot of tournaments. हमारे खुद के IPs रहेंगे and इसी के साथ साथ there is definitely a lot of money at stake. So संतोष सर, what do you think? What will be your expectations from your team and how are you going to pull off those preparations to just go in and claim that trophy?
So, like I always said, right? So the smaller the team is always better for me. So the idea we always do is we generally do a daily stand-up meeting, and I don't know how many people are aware, but we adapt a model called Scrum. The idea is we do have divide the day into pieces where the gaming time is separate and then preparation time is separate, and then we discuss what are the team strategies that we adopt. So in a way you have a daily stand up where routinely we check in and we see what we are going to do, and then after we have a preparation session which we call it a planning session for ourselves. And during this planning phase, we just don't only discuss about our plans, but we would rather understand what the other teams are doing at the moment, right? We do have some of the analysts that would join from us from our Thailand team, so they could also analyze the gameplay of other teams, and basing on that, we prepare our strategies for the game. And coming to the massive prize pool, guys, I think you guys are killing it, right? Rock solid. And also congratulations on Crafton joining the board as well as an investor into Jet Synthesis. I think these are all good feats, and this is actually elevating the esports on a much larger scale, right? So there is only one thing, the world trophy. Whichever team that gets it to India, that's where I feel like we are matter in the world stage as well, right? GodL did a fantastic performance during the PMGC, and we are sure, right, whichever team that goes in, we are with them 100%.
Well, that is just amazing. But मैं आर्यमन सर से पूछना चाहूँगा, आर्यमन सर, एक ट्रॉफी मिसिंग है एनिग्मा के कैबिनेट में BGMI के अंदर. व्हाट डू यू थिंक, क्या इस टूर्नामेंट में वो ट्रॉफी आने वाली है? आई थिंक आर्यमन सर की आवाज हमें नहीं आ पा रही है. आर्यमन सर, कैन यू चेक योर माइक?
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Absolutely. As I said, the effort is immense. Everyone working very, very hard. As Santosh rightly pointed out, after BGIS, everyone's very tired, but they've gone back to the grind. So we're going to be putting our best foot forward and try and get that trophy home as the second trophy for this BGMI lineup.
Well, that's amazing. Well, मैं वापस अन्ना के पास आना चाहूँगा ज़रूर. Anna, Velocity Gaming has a lot of trophies for themselves. What would the title of Grand Slam mean for your team? Like अभी सीधा वो Grand Finals में ही खेलने आने वाले हैं, and I'd just say कि Grand Finals में सीधा खेलने आना with all the homework getting done, what would be the, like, it's just plain and simple कि overall ये trophy आपके लिए कितना important है, and that's it.
ये बात मैंने टीम से भी बात किया था. इट इज लाइक यू हैव गिवन डायरेक्ट एंट्री इनटू फाइनल्स. थिंक दे आर थिंकिंग दैट यू आर अ डिजर्विंग टीम. नाउ इट इज टाइम फॉर यू टू प्रूव टू रेस्ट ऑल द टीम्स that yes, you are a deserving team to be here in the grand finals. And coming to the trophy part, I've just given them one explanation. The name itself says it. It's a grand slam, so take it as a tennis match. And Nadal, what he has done is something that you have to replicate right now, and that is what you need to do.
Well, just as Nadal does, never give up. I think
Yes.
VLT भी यहाँ पे बिल्कुल गिव अप नहीं करने वाली. बट मायावी, आपके पास आना चाहूंगा. यंग प्लेयर्स हैं, आप यंग 4 प्लेयर्स को लेके आते हैं, वो इतना अच्छा खेलते हैं. कुछ बताना चाहेंगे आप प्लेयर्स के बारे में हमें?
well, जैसे अभी संतोष सर ने बताया स्पीरो की दो हिस्सों में डिवाइड कर देते हैं दिन को. एक में प्लानिंग होता है, एक में प्रिपरेशन रहता है, एंड साथ में परफॉर्मेंस पूरा एनालाइज किया जाता है. आई थिंक मैं अभी उतना तो इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं कर पाऊंगा बिकॉज हमारे प्लेयर्स का दिन ऑलरेडी डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. आई थिंक हाफ ऑफ द डे उनका एजुकेशन में जाता है. हमारे 3 प्लेयर्स के अभी फाइनल एग्जाम्स चल रहे हैं. अभी सेमीफाइनल्स के अंदर भी तीनों प्लेयर्स स्कूल गए, एग्जाम दिए, उसके बाद डायरेक्टली दे केम आउट देयर टू प्ले. एंड आई एम रियली ग्लैड, आई एम रियली प्राउड कि उन्होंने इतना अच्छा परफॉर्म किया कि अच्छे खासे पॉइंट्स के साथ हम फाइनल्स में आए हैं. वेल, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की बात आगे भी करते रहेंगे. अभी तो बहुत लंबा सफर है, अभी तो जर्नी जस्ट शुरू ही हुई है. बैलेंस करके चलना है. इट्स ऑल अबाउट द बैलेंस, किस तरीके से हम अपना मैनेज करते हैं पढ़ाई को भी साथ में, बिकॉज इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट. सिर्फ ई स्पोर्ट्स इज ऑब्वियसली इम्पोर्टेंट, बट फॉर द प्लेयर्स जो अभी 17 साल के 18 साल के हैं, जिनके अभी बोर्ड एग्जाम्स भी चल रहे हैं, दोनों चीजें मैनेज करना मुश्किल है. बट वी आर ट्राइंग आवर बेस्ट एंड वी आर डूइंग गुड एज ऑफ नाउ. उम्मीद करते हैं आगे भी ऐसे ही अच्छा चलता रहेगा.
Well, for the final question, संतोष सर, मैं आपके पास वापस आना चाहूँगा. So, sir, what will this trophy mean for your team if they get it and if they don't?
Well, Sky is always having a special place in our heart, right? So let me start like this, right? Our India journey started with Sky Esports Championship 3.0 as our runner-ups, and it has garnered a lot of attention, and we've showed ourselves that we are one of the top competing teams in India. Now, we always look at any Sky Esports Championship or any other tournament, whether it is Grand Slam or even 4.0 that would be coming this year. It is always having a special place in our hearts that we want to win this no matter what, right? So that was the attitude. Prince always says it. Sky Esports में भी करना पड़ेगा, right? So that's what something he always tells me. So for that very reason, if you win it, of course I'm happy for the team. Even if we don't win it, it's okay. At least I understand there is always a lesson to learn, and if there are something that we can take away, we will take that. Whatever the mistakes that we have done, and since we are trying a new player, of course, if we don't win it, it's not a big problem for us. But winning is something that the team always strives for. If you lose, it's okay. We will just figure out what are the mistakes that we have done. We learn, we adapt, and we change our gameplay.
Well, that was just amazing. Thank you, gentlemen, हमें ज्वाइन करने के लिए, and good luck for the games. आज से ग्रैंड फाइनल शुरू है. कंसिस्टेंसी मेरे ख्याल से अब सभी का मंत्र रहने वाला है इस टूर्नामेंट के अंदर. एक सवाल हमें अभी अभी आया है हमारे कानों में, आपसे पूछना चाहूँगा. कितने चिकन डिनर आज हम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं आपकी टीम से? मैं अभी आपसे शुरू करते हैं.
Well, we are aiming not for the chicken. अभी 6 मैचेस हैं तो हमारा आज का टारगेट 80 पॉइंट्स का रहने वाला है. लेट्स सी. अभी कुछ ऐसा प्रेशर नहीं है प्लेयर्स के ऊपर, पूरा एकदम फ्री छोड़ दिया कि जैसे खेलना है खेलो. इस बार कोई एडिशनल होमवर्क हमने नहीं किया. It's just that we are aiming for 80 points. We get it. We are more than happy. If we don't, we're gonna try again tomorrow.
Well, आर्यमन सर, आपका पहले दिन का क्या ख्याल है? कितने चिकन आ सकते हैं आज?
I think the boys play every game trying their best to get that chicken dinner. That's the spirit, that's the mentality you have to go with. We try and take it one game at a time rather than thinking about the entire day. And then if every game goes well, obviously we're hoping to have, as Mayavi rightly said, 80 to 100 points would be great.
Well, इसी के साथ let's अन्ना, आप भी बता दीजिए अपना perspective. How many chickens are you planning to get?
अभी मैं स्ट्रीम पे बोल दिया तो टीम टेंशन में आ जाएगा. But yes, we did have some target to get at least couple of chickens and aim for that, anywhere between 60 to 80 points is what we thought per day, and then just take it forward step by step on a daily basis. It's a long tournament. It's not just
Okay, I believe this. Okay, okay, it's back, it's back. All right. And उसके साथ साथ, well, Santosh sir, what about you?
So generally, our planning. So our team is pretty much comfortable between 9 to 14 point range, right? So that's where our past experience suggests what the team does. So generally, we aim anywhere between 9 and to 14 points is the range per match that we want to contribute. And holistically, if you look at it, right, so it varies between around 60 points to 90 points. That's where we will look at. And in terms of chicken dinners, generally we want to focus where our strong map is, right? So generally we do pretty much good in Erangel and Miramar. Those are the matches we always focus for chicken dinners. And in Chanok, it is all about that kill hungry gameplay that would come down. Right, because it's a fast-paced map, so our boys would go for the kills. That's how we position our strategy for today.
Well, that is going to be it. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Good luck for the games. आज पहला दिन है, अभी बहुत लंबा सफर है, 7 दिन लगातार है, तो good luck for that. And let's see ट्रॉफी किसके पास जाती है इस टूर्नामेंट के बाद.
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Well, Spiro, that
Thank you
was
for
a
having us.
very, very, very interactive session. And आप कह सकते हैं कि these teams are ready. Well, हमें ज़रूर मौका मिलेगा.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to AMD Esports Grand Slam. Broadcast partner Loco and gaming partner Logitech G. This is me, Lucifer. Along with me, it's going to be Darshita. We are here back for the main thing that you were waiting for, the main battle that we are going to witness from today. It's going to be the grand finals, day one. I'm super hyped. I'm super excited. You can see how I'm ready for, but I'm going to be turning toward Darshita, also knowing how she's ready for day one.
I'm really so excited right now. I mean, look at my face. Look at our face. You just can,
True.
feel that energy hyped up completely, completely right now with us. And grand finales day one. Man, oh man, the semi-finales was one hell of a show. And trust me,
Mhm.
if that is something that these team can showcase in the semi-finales, grand finales are going to be huge one, right?
Exactly. I mean, every finals in terms of quarters and semis, and right now the grand finals that we are seeing, it's going to show us one thing that none of us have ever expected and none of us have ever witnessed. That's the best part of the game. That whatever you watched in quarterfinals and semifinals, that's not going to repeat itself. You're going to see a different game, not only because as we were seeing group in various A, B, and C, that teams were split up. It's about the prize pool. This is when
प्राइस
the
पूल
teams
आपको
have
देखने का मौका
actually
मिलेगा. फर्स्ट
unlocked the
पोजीशन को
prize
मिलने
pool.
वाला है
They will
8
be
लाख
getting
रुपए.
a chance
सेकंड
to
पोजीशन को मिलने
take
वाले
part
हैं
and
3
also
लाख रुपए.
have
थर्ड
this
पोजीशन
under
is going to
their
walk away
belts,
with one
maybe
and a
their
half
names,
lakh
maybe the
rupees.
bragging
Well,
rights.
first of all,
So the
कैप्टन एक
total
बार थोड़ा
prize
सा
pool
डीप
we've been
ब्रेथ लेते हैं
talking
और एक बार
from
प्राइस
day
पूल
one, the
दोबारा पढ़ते
total
हैं.
is going to be
15
15
लाख
lakhs,
रुपए.
out
That
of
that
which
is a massive
champions have
number,
the
right?
chance
I
to
mean,
take away
बहुत मजा आने वाला
8
है. 7 दिन यहाँ
lakhs.
पे बाकी है.
That's
देखते हैं
more
ये
than
प्राइस पूल में से
50%
जो
of the
बड़ा चंक है
prize
वो कौन लेके
that
जाएगा.
these
जैसे कैप्टन ने आपको
teams
बताया,
and
फर्स्ट प्लेस
players
पे
will
जो
be
टीम
getting,
आएगी
Darshita.
8 लाख
I
रुपए वो यहाँ से
completely
जीतने
agree with
वाली है.
that. Second
MVP ऑफ द
position, we
टूर्नामेंट,
have
मतलब
3
जनरली होता है कि
lakhs.
सबसे ज्यादा जो
Third,
फिनिशर्स
one
निकालता है वो
runner-up.
MVP
The
बनते
third,
हैं और
second
उनको
runner-up
एक
gets
अलग से 1
1
लाख
lakh
रुपए देने जा रहे हैं बोला है.
50,000.
तो
Fourth
वो भी एक
position, you
बहुत
get
बड़ा प्राइज बन
50,000.
जाता है.
Fifth
साथ ही साथ
position and the sixth, you get 25,000. But guess what? We do have individual prizes. We have the MVP of the tournament, a huge prize pool of 1 lakh, and the teams with most finishes, that's 50,000. So, precisely if I speak right now, it's not just about you getting the champions title, but definitely your team being as aggressive, one single player being as aggressive.
I'm looking forward to it, but right as of now, it's not only about aggression, it's all about the points, how these teams will be looking forward to making it work. We'll see how it is going to be panning out. The first place will be getting themselves 15 points. That's the winner chicken dinner. I know all of you know that, but look at this 15 points. It's going to differentiate 3 extra points from the second position team. So that's going to be an add on benefit if they actually capitalize. But yes, I mean, talking a lot about these placement points, you know a lot about it, but the main thing I'm looking forward to is going to be the finish points. But paying due respect to the zone and the game. Let's talk about the finish points. I'm sorry, placement points itself. The third place will be getting 10, fourth will be getting 8 points, fifth will be getting 6, sixth position will be getting 4 points, seventh has 2 points, 8th to 12th position will be getting one single point. But the team finishing from 13 to 20, yes, we do not have 20 teams in total who will be playing the grand finals. It's going to be 16 teams that are going to be participating. So 13 to 16 position, 0 points for them. So it's going to be a tough battle. As we were talking about the 16 teams, they are right in front of your screens.
These are the 16 grand finales team, and guess what? 6 teams are invited, 10 teams are qualified. The invited teams and the qualified teams, we too have the sides of Celsius, Team Mayavi, Entity, Team Exo, 8-Bit, Orangutan, Team Soul, Godlike, Nugget, Skylightz Gaming, Enigma Gaming, Team Forever, Chemin Esports, 7C, VLT, and TSM.
I'm looking forward to who these teams and how these teams will be playing out today. It's not going to be easy, Darshita, because every team right as now, as we saw even in the interview, it's not going to be that they'll be looking forward to bombarding in the day one. They'll be looking forward to grabbing points, climb the steps every day because it's a long tournament. It's not going to be concluding on 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, six. It's going to be getting concluded in a week-long tournament. Teams will be having a very tough time because day one, day two, day three, maybe they might be the table toppers. Day four, teams will immediately re-strategize, read them, and maybe show us a different page in a different battle. So I think teams need to understand that consistency that we keep talking about, right, Darshita? It's going to be playing out here, and in Grand Slam, they have to keep it going. But the teams that we have to actually look out for, the teams who have not at all played in the entire AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam are the invited teams, the sixth champ teams. I have been calling them as champs because it's not easy to become champions or runner-ups of any tournament, but these guys have made it. They have done it in Championship 3.0, they've done it in Mobile Open, and they've done it in the Grand Slam Season 1.
Absolutely. I have been telling this again and again that this 6 teams are just waiting to welcome the 10 qualified teams. And right now, the wait is over. We are going to witness one hell of a show with the first day of the grand finale itself. Well, talking about the first day, the map schedule is all set to your screens. Erangel, Miramar, Erangel, Miramar. Senok and Erangel. And trust me, Sam, when I say this, the map of Senok is something that I've been really missing for since a long time.
I agree with you. I was waiting for when the finals will come in
Exactly.
and when we will see Sanok because Erangel Miramar teams re-strategize, figure out each other's positions, fights. But Sanok becomes like a bouncer, right? In every match that we see, especially in cricket, right? That's going to be like a complete different. Maybe a complete different perspective or a complete change up that happens where teams maybe were coming in one thought process of maybe who got a winner chicken dinner looking forward to another one, but here's your Sanok. That's let's thrown in the mix over there. That teams are now okay. We have to figure out a way to, I would say, fight on Sanok and also actually get points. It's always not about winner chicken dinner. We have talked about that. Yes, it was also discussed in the interview. Winner chicken dinner is going to give you confidence, but it cannot give you an assurance that you will become the champions.
Absolutely. Talking a bit more about the interview, we heard, them saying that they aim for 60 to 90 point itself in the first day.
Hmm.
A huge point gap is what each and every team is looking forward to, and I do feel like something amazing is going to happen today. I mean, this platform is all set. The teams are just eagerly waiting. You audience, we casters, we have been waiting. The first map of Wrangle gets loaded at any moment, but something amazing is happening. I don't know what it is, but yes, Sam, I do feel like that. It's just gonna be one hell of a show, right?
It's going to be one hell of a show. You said it right because these matches, as we were seeing the first half, Erangel domination, the second half Miramar domination, but right as of now, it's kind of equally balanced where teams will be having a chance to pick up the fights and making sure they go ahead and you know what? Maybe bombard. We have seen the grenades happening, the grenade parade that we see. It's going to be not that easy to do it here. Yes, teams, the 10 qualified teams, the 10 teams who have battled it out with the 24 plus teams, XYZ teams from quarterfinals. You know, there is one team specifically who's playing it with that aggression and also, I would say, the confidence and the experience that this team is gaining alone, along with qualifying into the grand finals. If you guys know who I'm talking about. If you don't know, it's going to be the side of Team Nugget. They have qualified from qualifiers. Not They were not invited into the quarterfinals. They played in the starting stages. They qualified. They trickled down. 10,000 plus teams did, I would say, join. They did put up a I would say, enroll themselves for the fight, enroll themselves for this Grand Slam, but out of which 3,000 played in the qualifier stages, and from there on, we just saw only a couple of teams coming down to quarterfinals, and from there on, only six teams qualified, and Team Nugget were there. Semifinals, they played it brilliantly, and from there on, they've qualified into the grand finals. Along with them, there's going to be another team that I want to actually even also say it's going to be Team Forever. They made a huge leap. We were in the blind side, we were in the suspense, we were in the dark until the overall standings came yesterday. So today is going to be the same thing, but not only that, it's going to be a blindside for everybody because it's going to be a clean chit, Darshita. Everybody is going to be starting from zero to become the heroes.
Exactly. What's happened has happened, right? What
Exactly.
happened has previously happened. The semi-finales, the quarterfinales, everything has happened, and now the only focus that these teams have is the title of AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam,
Hmm.
and it's a huge title right
Oh
now.
yes.
If these teams are just planning to dominate on the very first day, I would say go for it. I mean, we have just seen this happening before as well, dominating on the first day, taking a break on the second, again coming back on the third day just as strong as possible is one way of showcasing your consistency. It's like just a comma. I've been talking about a comma since a long time, so maybe that can be a strategy, or maybe just being really calm at very first 2 days and then just dominating the entire lobby can be one more way of showcasing how consistent your team is. But at the end of the day, what matters is where you are on the overall standings.
Exactly. The overall standing is going to be the picture that you will be painting for the next day as well, because it might be a confident stance that you will be starting off on day two, but still, because it's day one and all the speculations and the strategies that we always keep making. I mean, we are casters here. We just want to see the performance and make sure how they make it work, because it's going to be very crucial. Grand finals, some teams might have starting jitters. That is bound to happen, because again, as you said, right, it's a big stage. There is a lot at stake right as now, because in the semifinals and quarterfinals, the stakes, and even in the qualifiers, the stakes was just about qualifying. You never had a chance to take a piece of the prize pool. But right now, coming to the grand finals, if you're able to fight for it, you are able to take a piece of the prize pool along with the bragging rights. I would say any team, it does not matter whether you come first, second, or maybe the third place, you still get a prize of a part of the prize pool. You still have the chance with for the bragging rights, because out of the 10,000 plus teams that registered, 3,000 plus teams that played, out of them you are the top 3, top 5, top 6 teams who have qualified, played, and placed themselves in the grand finals to get a chunk of the prize pool. It's never going to be that easy in this battlefield, that everybody is going to be putting out their A game. But starting off is going to be the map of Wrangle. That's what I'm looking forward to. And not only that, there's no breaks for any of these teams. As I said, semi-finals and quarters, Darshita, we saw the group stages. Here, there's going to be no group stages, so nobody's getting a break in between a map.
Interesting, right? Really
Exactly.
interesting. That's the only point where things can really turn around very quickly. I mean, just look at that. You have to play six map 7 days straight
Hmm.
without any break. I know it's sounds like kind of tiring for the players as well to be
Yes.
on their screen for continuous six maps with all the strategies, everything that they have. But right? You know what you get if you are at the top.
Exactly. You get a part of the title, you get the trophy. There's so many things that we can keep talking about in terms of the prize pool, Shita. I mean, I'm not going to get tired. I'm pretty sure the viewers right as of now
Exactly.
are looking forward to just starting of the match. I know, guys, we are waiting for it. It's day one, right? So the anticipation is what we are building up. And if you're already here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. And also let your friends know, because I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers who are coming in on quarterfinals and semifinals were waiting for the grand finals to start. Maybe they're just occupied with something. Just send them a message. Tell them the grand finals have started. Share it with your friends because this is the platform where everybody is getting a chance. And in case you're looking forward to any upcoming tournaments that you can participate, irrespective of this is going to be BGMI. Yes, if you're looking for other titles, you can follow us on at the rate Sky Esports Gaming. And if you're looking forward to participate the next time on Grand Slam itself, and also for all the updates, in case as I said, we know right, everybody has a daily day and part and parcel of your life. You might be caught up in meetings, but you still want to watch the tournament. Head over to at the rate Sky Esports Grand Slam on Instagram, where you'll get the quick updates, the I would say reels of the kills and the finishes when we see the teams getting the winner chicken dinner, the highlight movement, all those things you will not miss if you're following on various different platforms. But if you have any questions, if you want to ask us in between, head over on Twitter at the rate Sky Esports. You will be able to ask us some questions, and we as casters here and analysts will try to decode it. And I mean, the best way is always a discussion. So I'll have a discussion with my co-casters. Yes, we'll be joining in. There'll be Arka coming soon. There will be Raider coming soon. So we'll be waiting because we are going to be having a lot of fun here on the English desk. But Darshita, starting off on the map of Erangel, I'll ask you one thing. Are you coming with any thoughts, or are you just clean slate, just like it's going to be 0 points for everybody?
If you ask me this time, I don't want to give a second thought about anything. I mean,
Hmm.
the entire journey of Grand Slam that started from, yeah, for me, it was like semi-finales, and trust me, I have just played a bad card there. I just don't really feel to be playing one here once again. But there's something more interesting. I do have to say this, that the very first map of Wrangle that we may see on our screen really very soon can be really interesting. The first map, we may think that these players are just gonna play it really calm, but trust me, they are not stopping. They are just not gonna stop. They are just not gonna give a second thought about anything. They are just gonna go ham over their enemies.
Exactly. Every team is going to be going ham. And not only that here, Darshita, it's going to be one thing that I'm looking forward to, as you said, right? We do not want to, as casters, certain times yesterday, while he was casting the semifinals, I was talking about a lot of things that these teams have done and what they could do. And immediately, as I started portraying that and putting in words and sentences, those teams started having casualties. So the caster's curse is also be something that it's going to
Exactly,
start
yes.
working. So I'm going to keep a tight hold on the things that I would be actually talking about, because if I don't, then maybe the teams might start holding grudges on me. I do not want that, and especially on such a big stage of the grand finals, every team is looking to put up their best performance. So it's going to be wishing all these 16 teams all the best before we start the first map of Erangel. Just a few more minutes before we head over to the flight path. The plane is getting refueled. The teams are climbing aboard, and we will be looking forward to heading to the map of Erangel. As we said, the journey is not going to be easy, but it's going to be a long one. And I always, right, the destination is not the only thing, as we saw even in the interview, right? They did talk about it that yes, everybody is looking forward to the title, but if they don't, it's about the experience, and it's about the bigger stages that they'll be looking forward to, being the practice for them and everything as such. And especially in coming into the grand finals, writers are now not, I mean, even if without us telling, they have that pressure in them. They have to show up not only for them as a team and as a player, but for their fans who have been rooting for them from day one to see them lift the title. There are some diehard fans. You can, if you ask me, I'm also a diehard fan, but because I'm the desk, I'll not let you guys know any about those spills that I want to make. But yes, we all have one that fan favorite that we keep itching and talking about. So I'm looking forward to it. So, chat, one request from you guys, all you do is I would say spread positivity to all your favorite teammates, players, and just spam heart in the section, in the chat section with your favorite team names. Support them with all you've got, because that's the best thing that we can do. And yes, at the end of the day, it's growing the BGMI community that we are looking forward to. This is not going to be the end of once we finish off day 7 of AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam. There's going to be a lot more coming in, Darshita, and especially with so many announcements that we have made. Now you guys are like eager, interested and eager. As I said, announcement. Which announcement? If you have missed it, go follow us on our Instagram at the rate Sky Sports Gaming and Grand Slam. But without any further ado, let's head over to the players' camera, which we have all been waiting for to start off this first match of Wrangle on AMD Sky Sports Grand Slam Day 1. You can see various different teams ready for it. Chemin also gearing up. Team Nugget, the teams that we talked about, the team right as now rising stars that we can call Orangutan table topping semifinals. Let's see what they can do. EXO, they were there. They're looking forward to put up a better performance. Team Forever, the ones who made a great jump. Velocity, if you want to talk about, they were the champions of AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam Season 1, and we'll see what they'll be able to perform.
Everyone is ready, everyone is excited, and so we are, right? We are just
Hmm.
so excited with this very first map of Wrangle coming onto our screens. I am pretty excited that this is going to be a match everyone is just waiting for. And look at this, the fly path is all set, and somewhere this diagonal fly path is just giving a great opportunity for the players somewhere to the eastern sides. Yes, they do have a great opportunity to go off their primary drop location. But when you talk about the end, the Zarki and the Georgia pool side, you need to drop somewhere near to Pochinki or Ruins or in between. Get yourself a vehicle and then move further.
This is a very interesting flight path, Darshit. I'm looking forward to how it's going to be panning out. Majorly favoring the southern. Yes, teams that want to go to Ferry, Quarry will have no problems, but the teams who are looking forward to go to the Georgiopol Hospital and maybe even Zaki, a tough luck for them because they're going to have a long journey ahead of them. They have to grab the vehicles, but look at
Oh,
the
oh
zone.
my god.
It is going to be taking a huge shift. I was maybe presuming maybe it would, I would say, encompass Yasnaya. But here it says no. It says we are going to be encompassing a little bit of the flight path, but majority leaving every team out.
This time we both have been denied. I mean, if you talk about my prediction, I thought somewhere to the areas of Zarki and Georgiapool up there. But the flight path says not every time is what we are favoring. So, favoring you. So here we go. The flight path is all set. The first play zone is all set, and we do have some early casualties happening as well. One player has been eliminated completely. Please show me what has happened there.
Oh
Just I know
no.
there's so much of
What?
in the very first map itself. It's not just about drop clashes happening in the areas of military base, but up there in the areas of Rozok, there's so much more happening.
There's so much more happening, and I cannot believe this is just the start. TSM also having a casualty. I mean, look at this. The
Oh my.
champs are facing the difficulty from the qualified teams. It's new player confirming the player from the side of TSM early on casualties, and this is why we said the flight path is going to be something that none of us have expected, and especially with the zone coming in, it's going to be a tough situation. But TSM are looking forward to making a run for it. They've understood that this is not the fight that they wanted to be in. But if you want to talk about the side of God, like all the time that we've seen them, they'll always drop down at Yasnaya. Nothing for them to worry about. No teams contesting them. Yes, in the map when the flight came through, and we saw a couple of teams, I would say, parachuting, but they never dropped down to Yasnaya.
I completely agree with you. On the other hand, you talk about some initial. We just had a word about some initial casualties happening, but when you talk about some other teams as well, right now they are at complete peace. They know that their primary drop location is something that they, are looking forward to, and they just have their hands on everything that they need for the end fights. They are just packing up the bag. The third level or the second level backpack, everything that they get there. You see Pushparaj. I mean, what a beautiful name! What a beautiful name this player has. Level 3 helmet, level 3 armor, level 2 backpack. I mean, he got everything that he need. It's just some more utilities that he needs to focus on right now.
Everybody needs to get utilities and resources. It's not going to be an easy fight here. It's the start. You already see that we have lost, I guess, three players from this lobby. I mean, it's the start and close to a team being eliminated. Yes, I think it's from three different teams that we have seen these casualties. We'll very early on get to know which those teams were. We're talking about Seoul, a little bit split. Yes, they are playing, but nothing as of now to be worried about. Skylightz, the initial fight they picked, they also had the casualty. So I think it was an exchange blow coming in from both the side of TSM as well as Skylightz. Both of them having one finishes. Maybe I did not pay that much attention because it was very early on, and I was just worried about if this is going to be TSM making the best or making having a casualty in the early start, because they are one of those teams who have not played in the Grand Slam. So something as of now for breathing and being relieved is going to be the side of Skylightz Gaming to get a blowback and also receive a finish, and also go same for the side of TSM. Yes, they do also have a finish, as you can see on our screens. But talking about these early casualties, do you think, Darshita, these two teams can make it to the top three or top five?
Really scared of this. You understand I understand for the fact that getting one finish for yourself is something that is definitely needed, but just losing one player, that's not something that you do on an early stage. Getting into a 3v5, a 3v4 fight, my bad, at the end zone is not something that I have been expecting for. But on the other hand, there was, I guess, one more casualty happening. There's going to be one more fight happening between the sides of Team OG there. I really need to, see what Team OG has got in the grand finals of AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam. But right now, we talk about the sides of Team EXO. They are really looking calm right now. They just got everything that they need to their primary drop locations. But one more thing that they need to focus on is a vehicle. If they don't, okay, there you go. I was just talking about vehicle. So yeah, that's something that they really need to focus on.
Exactly, teams need to start focusing. But as you talked about the side of OG, they did take a player down from the side of Velocity. That's going to be Daljit being lost. So you can see early on the lobby is somewhere slightly being cleaned up one after another. It's going to be very confusing, right? As you know, I don't want to say that Erangel is being completely, I would say, fight favored. Teams are just rushing in to pick off players and finish them off, get those points. Yes, early on, if they do it, they'll be more than happy because they get those points. If they don't, then maybe get the placement points, play on rotation. But talking about the side of Chemin, they are playing at military base. Looks like nobody else dropped down to pick a fight with them because it's the for day one. Nobody will be looking forward to fight off and maybe even have a drop fight. But if Kemen put up a really good show, the next time when we come to the map of Wrangle, we might see another team contesting them.
It can be the case. On the other hand, to talk about, we just had a word about, Velocity losing one of their player. Well, yes, it's Daljit going down, and it's just going to be three of them surviving. Once again, I am scared of these three players. At the end of the day, when the zone starts to scramble in, and when you are running really low on one player, there's a lot of problems that your team gets in. But eventually, if that synergy, if you find that level of unity in that gameplay, I guess a 3v4 fight is something that you can definitely convert for yourself. You talk about we will talk about more on this topic in the last zones, but focusing more on the sides of Team Enigma right now, they got one finish for themselves. I guess it's a good start. It's a pretty good start for them in this very first match of grand finals, but looking forward, they need to focus more and more.
Every team needs to start focusing here, Darshita, because yes, early casualty is something that nobody expects. It just happens out of the blue. That's what happened here, kind of Monday Blues thing that these teams just faced after, I mean, again, various different players from different teams that have been lost. OG, I think it was just one isolation from the side of Velocity that they did. They have not been able to spot at anybody, and also that there was no retaliation means yes, Daljit was somewhere caught out in the open. But OG, look at them playing smart. They've already topped on the semi-finals chart, and they're looking forward to staying on top in the start of the grand finals to make sure if there is anything else in terms of difficulties that they face as they go forward. Because if you talk about the number of days that teams have played in semi-finals and quarters and then to the grand finals, the day has exceeded, I would say, a plus additional 1 day compared to the quarterfinals and plus 2 to the semi-finals. So teams will have a tough time, and yes, difficulties might come through the journey in between. And yes, once you cross those difficulties, you're bound to reach success. But it's not going to be easy whenever you face difficulties to immediately convert them, try to figure out a solution. So let's see what these teams will be looking forward to. But Team Forever found a solution for themselves. But now the solution is now the problem needs to present itself. That's going to be the circle. Where will it come and how do they have to rotate as a solution? The circle not taking a huge shift, Darshita. So right as you know, I'm not worried about these teams. They're still looking good. Yes, a couple of teams are left out, such as Velocity as well as Chemin, but during the rotation there might be a clash. Orangutan, who we saw were at the edge of the circle, they're still there, and I think they're looking forward to moving in.
Rotational clashes is something that can't be avoided, but at the same time, if you just out of the blue clash into one team, that can cause a problem for either your team or the enemy. But on the other hand, all this being said and done, the main focus is the center of the circle right now. Each and every team is just trying to focus as much as they can on the center of the circle. On the other hand, we do have one fight happening there. That's going to be 7C Savitar caught by GodL Z God. Well, okay, I guess 7C is being caught by two angles if I am not wrong. But on the other hand, there you go. Z God is trying his level best to take one player down, and it's going to be a 4v4 fight happening any moment now.
Let's see how it's going to be panning out. God, like waiting for the opportunity to jump upon the opponent. But yes, it's all the rotation that this is making it happen. They were at Yasnaya. They've come close to Gatka. They want the compounds of Gatka, but there is going to be the side of 7C holding them off. They're looking forward to the spray. It comes out from the SKYL with a red dot. Nothing in terms of a connection coming in from Prince. And this is enough information for the side of Godlike. But where are the other players from Godlike? Are they all together? Is the circle completely, I would say, so on each other? It looks like no, they are just
No,
only two
no, they are not.
players.
Exactly. I've been just searching for players, but we just see two of them, and it's 2v4 fight.
Hmm.
Now, if it's the time when it's you need to call back your teammates or either not get into a fight. You know, right? 2v4 fight, it's like a 50% advantage of manpower what the enemy team has. And trust me, that can be really, really difficult. But on the other hand, you talk about the sides of Team Soul. Well, that's going to be them spotting out the sides of Team GodL once again. So basically, if we talk about GodL, 7C, and Soul, it's going to be somewhere a kind of triangular fight that we are looking forward to, right?
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking forward to the early on sandwich. It's still the second zone. That's not even the third one, Darshita. And teams are
Exactly.
still looking forward to start off here itself. But it's going to be a very difficult situation if Godlike gets spotted and get a knock. So if you get a knock, that means the distance that is there from the opponent can be closed in from the team which actually gave you the knock. But talking about another team who's looking forward to rotating, it's going to be the side of Team Mayavi. We just saw Mayavi himself speaking for the team. They are looking forward to grab close to 80 points. If it's not possible, they'll be looking forward to it on another day, but they've given it their all. They're still making sure they are putting up their best foot forward and they're playing close to each other. And this is the best way to play in BGMI. You have to be at close quarters from each other. Yes, you can still play a split, that is still good because you'll be able to gain more information, but your split needs to be less than, I would say, maybe 5 seconds away from your teammate. If it's more, then you'll be able to lose your teammates. But talking about the circle, it's going to be taking another shift very soon. But in between this, the side of Chemin have actually rotated, but in between there could have been a fight from the side of Velocity, but somehow Velocity dodged it, and you can see they're still in the blue zone. But with the third circle coming in,
Oh.
this might change up everything. It's just come to the southern end of Hospital, but in between, EXO have spotted Enigma Avi out in the open, and that's going to be an early on casualty that also Enigma faced. And look at this, still 16 teams alive, Darshita, but it's just one or two casualties happening in every team.
Right now, everyone is at a run of marathon. The one who wins the marathon gets a great chunk of praise. This is what I will praise it. On the other hand, you talk about Team Mayavi rotating a while ago. Right now, they are looking forward to take a fight with the sides of Team Entity. But there you go, the live state is all set on your screen, and there are 5 teams who have lost one of their players. That's going to be Skylightz Gaming, TSM, Enigma, VLT, and NTT. I mean, losing one of your player is going to cause a lot, but at least they have gained something for themselves in return. Is moment of relief. There you go. Joker has spotted one from the sides of Team Exo. Fierce will be registering a bit of damage on himself, but I guess damage is something that Joker needs to satisfy himself with. And once again, the team decides to rotate. But on the other hand, when you talk about Exo, they are not looking forward to the sides of Team Mayavi, but on the other hand, they do have their focus on some other team. I mean, look at this happening, Sam. Look at overall the fights happening this way. One team focusing on the other, and the other team focusing on the third team there. I mean, what is happening?
It's just very interesting here, Darshita. It's the
Exactly.
grand finals, and that's why, I mean, to decipher this, I think we need a very strong, I don't know what to say, a networking agent or something from FBI or something like that to get an idea about what's happening, because fights are getting initiated everywhere. Teams are spotting out each other. Look at this. There was EXO looking at the side of, I guess, Entity, and now they have been spotted from the side of Team Mayavi. So the fights are getting very interesting in the third circle itself. God, like they're also looking forward to fight with the side of Entity, but you can see the side of Team Nugget, TSM Shadow. TSM have already had a casualty, and this is going to be another one which puts them in the down low of just two more players surviving. But 7C, they did look for a fight with the side of Godlike, but now they spotted the side of Skylightz Gaming. Skylightz were also one of those teams who had the casualty with the fight when these two teams, TSM and Skylightz, met. Both of them exchanged blows and finishes, but right as now 7C, Sarang finds new player out in the open, sitting in the vehicle, maybe relaxing, listening to some audio tunes, but that becomes a casualty and a finish for the side of Team Skylightz. And Skylightz looking forward to this. They will also have that casualty. And wait a minute, did they lose every player and it's the last surviving player, Gamla boy? How did that happen? And this, I guess, should be the elimination of the side of Skylightz. Yes, it is going to be the first team to be eliminated in the grand finals. Day one is going to be Skylightz Gaming. How did this happen? TSM were also a team who had a casualty, but Skylightz, one after another, players just fell like dominoes.
Anything can happen here. Anything can happen here. With a blink of an eye, you just can see one whole team getting eliminated. This is the grand finals of AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam, and trust me, if this is the way it is starting, it's gonna be one hell of a show. On the other hand, on the other sides, when you talk about the sides of team Godlike, they right now are playing with one another, but the position they are holding is a good one. What do I mean to say right now is GodL is holding a good position, but they are getting surrounded by multiple teams right now. You see, Celsius is rotating on one way, 7C is on the other. Up there you can see the sides of Team Entity, but Neo there will be taking one for him and his entire team. Right now, Team Celsius has rotated and is sitting exactly at the behind of Team GodL, whereas in the front you can see the sides of Team 7C, but there you go. Z-God will be making sure to accumulate himself with as much information as he can, and right now he has all his eyes set on the sides of Team Celsius.
I'm looking forward to how this works. The side of Celsius is also a really good team, but unfortunately when there's too many teams looking forward to fight, but look at this mini coming in from Soul Player. 3 is not stopping. He knows there's a vehicle, so there should be a player. Even the side of Orangutan, this spot out a player, and look at the finish immediately coming. So right as now, every team that is getting those knocks are also getting a finish back to back, so they're not letting anybody survive one after another. But in the meantime, Billion will be taking one player down from the side of 7C, and also confirming with the help of Slayer. Team Mayavi taking one player from the side of OJ. Pechan Con is down, and Knuckle will be also taking down Trigger, and it's going to be one player exchanging from the side of Celsius on the side of Velocity. Manya confirming Orangutan Ash, and also Pechan Con, and I think it should be the downfall of Orangutan as well. Celsius bursting the vehicle of Velocity. Kratos going down. So many players one after another in the kill feed, going ham one after another, and you can see Soul, they're also pushing in. I guess it should be the end of TSM as well. Manya now gets a knock on Slayer. Slayer was the one who made a knock with the help of his teammate, but right as now he might be eliminated. Goblin receives the damage. That is going to be huge. A grenade comes, but he does not read it. We all of us saw that, because yes, we see those lines coming through, but they don't. And right as now, Goblin gets knocked, but does not matter. Now Delta is going to be taking on Max Kush from the side of Team Forever. Another grenade comes through. Ninja Jot looking for to push players down. He's doing the damage with the grenades. The grenade is not stopping. The push comes in, and it's going to be Ninja Jot knocked. Pew Pew, what a play. And there's no bit of Pew Pew. It's going to be completely I don't know how to make the sound, but yes, it is going to be that. But Aquanax, the last surviving player, Goblin pushing in, and I think this should be the end. Yes, along with them, the side of Velocity also get confirmed. What a chaotic fourth zone, Darshita.
I do completely agree with that. With 18 or 19 minutes being done and dusted, we have lost 4 teams completely. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of Team 7C, they lost 1 player, but they gained 3 finishes for themselves. To gain a more attention towards the sides of Team Godlike. Right now, they have their focus completely on the sides of Team EXO holding that shack. And even if one player moves a muscle, it can be really chaotic. But on the other hand, Team Mayavi, Joker in a 1v1 situation with Spray God manages to take him down, but he receives a lot of damage from that's 8-bit. That's 8-bit just giving a lot of damage on Joker there. Prince, he is just waiting behind. Savitar will be going in for that revival, but Joker, he is just waiting back. Now Savitar, if he goes in for the revival and at the same time Joker decides to go, that grenade can be devastating. A pinpoint precise grenade can cause a lot of problems, but there you go. The grenade just deals with a lot of damage and nothing else. Joker once again will be going for one more grenade. No, that is not happening. That was damage being dished once again. On the other hand, we do have the sides of Team Enigma. Eggy down to the ground was holding the upper rooftops of the compound, but that won't be working to his favor, and he is down to the ground. Enigma Rex has been confirmed. Oh my god, this lobby is just being so aggressive right now.
Man, I'm enjoying this because the kill feed is just popping off, and that's going to be the end of Team Mayavi as well. 4 finishes for them to start it off on day 1 and the first match of this grand final. Soul also had a couple of retaliations, but they're still standing strong. If you talk about the side of God, like they also are standing strong, but I think the side of Celsius might be in a little bit of a difficulty in terms of the numbers that they have. But Entity, they are also one of those teams who will have difficulty in the numbers. We did see one player from the side of Entity being lost, so I think it's going to be difficult now. Out in the open, the push was coming in from the side of Soul. They did receive a little bit of damage, but now with that damage being received, another team has spotted them out, and Celsius, look at them doing the damage, and Soul right now caught out in the open. They were looking for to push the side of Entity, but right as now all they're getting answered is with bullets, and they're in a tough spot. 2 players knocked, 1 player is about to be finished off very soon, and I guess that confirmation should come anytime soon, very early. But Entity looking forward to take this as an advantage. In between that, if you paid attention, Soul player 3 was very low. They revive him, he's back to good health right as now, he's patched himself. Akshat in the meanwhile is also knocked, he's also looking forward to get back up, but in the meantime 7C find the side of 8, but Madman has been knocked. They're looking forward to push this aggression. Godlike have also spotted a player and a team that's going to be the side of 7C. Pushparaj with his grenades and mollies coming through, and also smokes. Okay, it is all smokes, my bad. I thought it was a molly and a grenade because he was throwing it in quick succession. But right as now, look at Neo. He's creeping across with the UMP, and we know in close range what a destructive weapon is. But Wraith on 7C Savitar will be getting a knock with a grenade.
So much is happening, so much has happened, and so much is going to happen. On the other hand, when you talk about Godlike, there are 3 finishes for themselves, and right now, Tsunami is being caught. Pushparaj will be taking one on Tsunami. 8-bit Madman is just waiting behind. With the hope of revival is all that he went, but right now it is difficult. 8-bit Madman has been confirmed by GodL Neo. That's 6 for Godlike. But on the other hand, Team 7C Esports has been eliminated with 8 amazing finishes for themselves. You talk about fights, you just see what is happening. Team 8-bit getting eliminated at 7 teams and 24 players with a mark of 21 minutes that we have right now. Team Soul right now is just trying to gather as much information as they can. They're just trying to just go in for information. As you know, information is going to be really important part of all this fight happening. If you are running low on information, that can cause you a lot of problems. But on the other hand, Z-God is been hitting back a lot of damage on himself. I'm not sure for the reason of from where he is getting hit by, but yes, right now he needs to patch himself up and focus on what can be done next.
I mean, I'm not too sure what can be done next, but for the side of Soul, it needs to be finding a hard cover. Yes, they're at the edge of the circle, but yes, I also understand that it is an open fight because of the circle that's happening, but they have to actually push forth the teams back. If they don't, Soul might get finished off. They've retaliated enough in terms of saving themselves, but right as now, it's going to be very difficult as EXO, one after another, players are falling down because of the side of Celsius, and it's going to be the last surviving player, Snacks. The all hopes left on him, but he was stuck in a shack. A team from a different angle spotted, and Snacks will be confirmed from Entity Shadow. That's the end of it, and that's the end of Team EXO with just one finish. Team Nugget still surviving, taking one player down. That's going to be Pushparaj, and another one confirmed. Not a confirm, but a knock. That's on GodL Gill, and Z-God will also get finished off. What was this? Along with Celsius and Team Nugget, both of them, I would say, joining hands and finishing off the side of Team Godlike, and that's going to be the end for them as well. It was looking like Godlike, with the aggression that they had, they could have gotten a winner chicken dinner, but they've been finished within the blink of an eye.
How did they just got finished? Grenades! Grenades! What a play it was by the sides of Team Celsius. On the other hand, you talk about the play zone. Team Soul right now is holding the best position they can. They are at a different corner, and with that, they can just hold in a lot of information, and at the same time, they can provide n number of space. But the only disadvantage they have right now is the complete open areas and no artificial covers to work around with. They do find some small covers and the vehicles, but that is something something that they need to be really, really careful about. On the other hand, you talk about the sides of Team Celsius right now. They were looking really, really good. They have lost one of their players but gained a lot. Win prediction, well, there you go. See, that's Chemin Esports and Soul with 23%, Celsius with 17, TN and Entity 17 as well. There you go. CES Destro, it's going to be Destro. They're trying to take one down, but 420 OP is already down to the ground and he needs to revive him back to his life.
It's going to be very interesting. 420 OP, as you said, is down. Another player is also down. That's going to be Nugget from Team Nugget itself. So it's going to be a tough one. Entity, Celsius, and Team Nugget trying to fight it off. Team Nugget did get the assistance of Celsius to finish off the side of Godlike. But Soul, Akshat, was that a confirmation? I guess yes. Akshat was down. But now you can see Entity Noob also taking down a player from the side of Celsius. That's going to be a knock. Yes, there is time for that finish to come through. But Dreams also gets knocked. So one after another, players from the side of Celsius are falling apart. So Team Nugget, this is the opportunity for them to capitalize. Enemy of an enemy was a friend when they had to finish off the side of Godlike, but right as of now they are their enemy. They need to finish them off, and right as of now it's going to be Entity helping them, and it's going to be Delta being confirmed, and I guess that should be the end of Celsius. The last surviving player is going to be 420 OP. He has all the responsibility, but it's going to be a 1v1. Shadow is also trying to survive. Soul player 3, he is taking on Ham on the side of Team Nugget, but Shadow will be finishing off Destro along with Soul Pew Pew helping to finishing off 420. So right as now Entity will be able to revive their players from a different angle. A third party capitalizes and helps the side of Team Entity to survive in the further upcoming fights. But I'm not too sure about the numbers. But Celsius, wait, what happened? We just saw Celsius one after another falling down, but it looks like they still have players going for them.
They are back. They are back with all that they can do. Right now, they have 3 surviving players just patched themselves up completely and are looking forward to that delicious chicken dinner for themselves. On the other hand, you talk about the sides of Team Soul. Right now, they are just raining hell on the enemies. Just give an umbrella to the enemy. They do need that right now with some grenades all set to their way. Right now, I guess there's nothing that the grenade has done so far, but what is going to happen next is the biggest question each and every one of us have right now. With 4 surviving teams, the win prediction that Team Celsius and Team Nugget hold are the highest, whereas Team Soul and Team Entity do hold that 20% winning prediction. Right now, one more grenade on the sides of Team Celsius can really be devastating for them, as they would just run for their life, and at the same time they would just locate themselves. But everyone is down to the ground. They are
Prone game.
just a sneaky snake that we are coming forward to. But there you go, T and Pro is down to the ground with 1 grenade on their way. Troy with some great predictable sprays. He will be managed to take 1 down. Pew Pew will be taking 1 on Vixie, but on the other hand, he is just locating himself, and there you go. He's been dealing with a lot of damage. He needs to be really careful, but no, Dreams will make sure that his dreams last really wrong, and there you go. He will be taking the sides of Team Soul completely. Right now, Celsius is looking good, but Vixie, he needs to be revived back as soon as possible.
Exactly. We were just about to see top 3, but with Nugget getting confirmed from Team Nugget, they've also lost the opportunity of getting a winner chicken dinner. Now it's going to be the face-off between Entity and Celsius. Yes, very early on I was also talking about Celsius, but it was the team of Chemin who got eliminated with the fight with Entity. But right as now, Entity with the second chance that they got and the helping hands coming in from Soul, they're looking forward to push and get that winner chicken dinner for themselves. It's not going to be easy. Troy has been spotted from Dreams. A grenade comes in. It does damage, a lot of it, and Shadow, he's dropped more than half of his health, but Troy looking forward to provide the cover. He's doing the damage. Yes, it's just chip, but he immediately receives a lot of damage. His vest is almost broken down. The helmet from Shadow is down, and that's the reason he gets eliminated, and that's the reason you need to have resources and utilities. You did not have a helmet, you lost the fight, and with that, Entity loses, and it's going to be the side of Celsius getting the first winner chicken dinner of this AMD SKYESPORTS Grand Slam. What a way to start it off. This was a team that was, I would say, kind of rooting as well. They did show a spectacular performances very early on, and right as of now, they're keeping the dreams alive, making sure they are in the running race. Yes, it's still day 1, but this is going to be the start of the confidence.
What a match it has been. I mean, we were really excited, but this chicken dinner is just so amazing. Team Celsius. Oh my god, what a way to start their journey in the AMD SKYESPORTS Grand Slam Grand Finals. Day one, match one. There you go, Team Celsius. Many congratulations to you for getting your first ever victory on the Grand Finals. First ever match. I mean, this can gain you a lot of confidence. This can gain you a lot of boost in your momentum. But once again, the upcoming map is Miramar, and you know, right? You know what is going to happen. We will be having more discussions on the sides of Miramar, like what Miramar is all about, what it is. But right now, Erangel, what do you think? How did it went for you?
Um, uh, is that I don't know, Darshita. I don't know what to say about the
Exactly,
match.
exactly.
It went in various different directions. First, I thought maybe Soul will do it, but then I got confused between Chemin and Celsius. Then I saw it was Celsius, and then I saw maybe the side of Chemin had it under control. Then we saw the side of Entity, and here you start understanding how crucial your resources, your utilities, the whatever you have on your backpack and on your body itself, it's going to be very crucial. Shadow over there, he did not have a helmet to play with. His teammate Troy did not have a vest to play with. So these damages that they had was the reason that Entity went down. Otherwise, look at their spray, look at the amount of damage they dealt on their opponent. It looked like Celsius could have also been knocked and finished off, but 3v2 situation also panned out for them. As soon as they got the first knock, the winner chicken dinner just flowed to their hands. But the early on fights that we saw, it was just spectacular. It started with the side of Skylightz as well as TSM, and also on the side of Entity, they also had a casualty. So a couple of teams did exchange blows and get finishes. A couple of teams found free finishes for themselves, but we will be talking a lot about it. Let's talk a lot about it in the highlights. That's where a lot of the action, in case you guys missed, we will be looking at. It started off where Exo Fear spotted Enigma away out in the open, so that's another free finish that they got.
I do completely agree with you. On the other hand, new player one. I mean, he was just waiting in that vehicle. I'm not sure was he refueling it or what exactly was going there, and that's where their one more player was down to the ground. OG, well, yes, they were looking good. I mean, yes, they were really looking good, but on the other hand, they were down to the ground. The fights went really, really so fast, with some grenades being exchanged and tossed from the sides of team TSM. There, it was really difficult. I mean, I just for a moment thought that what is going to happen next, but Team Soul, they really did it amazingly and managed to completely eliminate one complete team. On the other hand, you talk about Team Mayavi, they are looking as aggressive they are. You see a 1v1 situation in which the players of Team Mayavi are, they do try their level best to, get a victory on that.
It was a lot of tries coming in from various different teams, Darshita. It was not
Yes,
easy, but you could see the grenade parade coming down one after another.
exactly.
People, I would say, in the last circles, kind of joined hands. You saw here, Kemen, they were actually fighting out with the side of Soul, were also fighting out with the side of Entity, and when it actually just fell in favor for both these teams, the side of Kemen got eliminated. But then we saw this last fight coming through where the side of Entity and Shadow were looking forward to picking up. Shadow does the damage, but because he did not have an helmet, as soon as he peeked, the damage came his way. He got knocked. Troy was left. He did patch himself up, but you know how long can he play? He did not have a vest, and you can see the vest also immediately getting self-destructed and finished off, and there was no entity anymore to fight, and they get placed in the second position, so it's going to be 12 points for them. But let's talk about the stars of the match. I wouldn't just say star of the match, it's going to be stars of the match. Starting it out, it's going to be Celsius Dreams. As you said a line where Celsius Dreams is breaking and tearing apart dreams of the opponents. That's what he did. Six finishes for this man. The amount of damage that he has done, 663. One bonus, I think the bonus is going to be the one knock some other team did, and he got the finish. But talking about Celsius Mac, best companion. You need a companion like this. He gave the revives when it mattered, when the players of Celsius started falling apart. But the finisher also came from him. So companion making sure his team also gets the winner chicken dinner.
Absolutely. The first match, Team Celsius. What an amazing thing. Out of all the plays happening, Sam. Overall, we saw many plays happening, many strategies happening, many rotation happening. The only play that I enjoyed the most was the zone shift. And
Oh
trust me
yes.
when I say that. The first zone shift just came so amazingly. But we'll have more discussion. Let's just talk about MVP of the match. That's Celsius Dreams, just shining bright as his dreams are. Six finishes and contribution of 66.67% in the match one itself.
Dreams, man, a lot of dreams were, I would say, broken in the start of the
Exactly,
day itself.
exactly.
Everybody was looking forward to that winner chicken dinner. I mean, it did look like it. Many of the teams that were playing, you saw GodL going in so aggressive. Their fights, the ones that they actually picked up, they were easily getting those finishes. They were playing in as a team, but their last slam in did not work through. Soul, as well as we said, out in the open, they had to find a good cover for themselves. Yes, they were actually answering back, but then you saw Celsius Dreams also making it work, finding the opportunity not only on Soul Entity and many other teams. So this man has done the job, has done the heavy lifting for his team. But still, this is match one, Darshita. It's just the map of Arangal. It's a classic map. Next comes the map of Miramar, where you would have to start worrying about the lot of changes that happens. You did not have cover in the last zone here, but talking about the map of Miramar, from the start you have no cover.
That's the most exciting part about the map of Miramar. I mean, entirely you need to play a ridge game. There are high ridges, there are high
Hmm.
buildings, and this map of Miramar is a complete sand dune maps, a
Oh
complete
yes.
open area where the only pinpoint important thing that matters is the rotation. I mean, you will ask me why rotation is so important. It is, trust me, my friend, it is. You are
Yes.
rotating and you just dash into a team out of nowhere. You have no artificial covers to work around. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What's the next step you are going to take? So yes, rotation is going to be the most important factor right now in the map of Miramar. And out of all this happening, out of all these things like rotations, drop locations, the only thing I really wish this teams, please do not fall off any kinds of vehicle, please. I mean,
Oh,
please don't do that, please. I really
stunts.
don't I really don't want to sit here and spectate players falling off their vehicles. I mean, I would really feel sad. At the same time, that's an interesting thing for audience to watch, but trust me, when it comes to the players, that's really very frustrating.
Exactly, you will not get any bonus points for the stunts that you make. I mean, we have seen teams, it's not stunts also. I mean, we're just having a fun and chit chat over here while that is happening. But let's talk about the standings itself. We'll also discuss about how these teams will be looking forward to play out on the map of Miramar. But talking about the team who got the winner chicken dinner, not only did they get 15 points in terms of placement, they had 9 finishes in their bag, which puts them with a whooping 24 points in total compared to the second position team who also had 6 finishes, 3 less finishes compared to the side of Celsius. But because of 12 in terms of placement points they get 18. So they're still missing on 6 total points from the team that is in the first position. So already it's not just a gap of 1 or 2 points, Darshita. There's already a gap of 6 points created.
A gap of 6 points already created, but consistency will take you more.
Hmm.
I mean, right now, yes, I do agree that it's a great match. It's a great way to start the day. But eventually, if second maps work to your favor, if you just keep on being real consistent and you just at least jump 1, 2, 3 points further each and every match, then there can be a hope of you dominating the first day, or else you know what happens next, right? Talking more about the overall standings right now, Team Entity on the second position with a total of 18. Chemin Esports on the third with 14. Team Nugget 13. I mean, that's just a single point difference that we see on the third, fourth, and the fifth position. That's 14, 13, and 12. Coming back to Godlike Esports, they managed to take 10 points in the first match, 7C on 9. Once again, a single point difference. But hereafter, it's going to be a 4 point difference that is coming forward. Like it's just going to be 5, 4, 1, and 0 points for the last team. That's Team Forever.
It's going to be very difficult, even though I guess I'm not too sure. I guess it's the side of TSM that we saw who were eliminated as the first team, but because they had the finish, they could actually have something in their build and not worry about it. But the teams not getting any points, it's going to be difficult, Darshita. It's already putting up a chill up my spine because start of day one, every team looks forward to the best day and also a couple of points here and there. Yes, it's not going to be an easy start for any one of these teams, but if they get 0 points in the start, it's going to be very tough, right, to pan it out. And now with the map of Miramar coming in, it's no easy map. It's going to be bigger, it's going to be badder, and it's going to be open. As we kept talking about it, you have dunes, you have ridges, and we were already talking about the vehicle casualties that can happen. No stunts allowed should be a big board that needs to put up, but also that teams need to understand that during rotations is where they eventually get caught on the map of Miramar. So maybe early rotations or maybe waiting for some other team to rotate. I know it's kind of like uh, waiting for the opportunity to strike, but for you to strike in that opportunity, you need to be somewhere in the center or somewhere at the edge of the circle. If you're not, you're going to be having a tough time. But Miramar poses a lot of major concerns for a lot of these teams.
Absolutely, I completely agree with everything. I mean, if you ask me, Sam, right now, the map of Miramar for me is like a nightmare to me. I mean, I am just so scared to play this map. And on the other hand, the level, the trigger amount of discipline that you showcase on the map, the level of discipline, the level of patience you have, everything gets tested on this map of Miramar. I
Hmm.
don't know if audience, or you will really agree to this point, but you need to be really patient. At the same time, you need to have that trigger discipline, but at the same time, you don't need to be passive. You just need to play each and everything on that 50-50-50%, or take a 20 or 30% of each and everything. Just mix it together, give your level best, make it 100%, and just rock it to the map of Miramar, right?
Exactly. I would say teams need to, like, as you said, right, mix and match their performance. Maybe they go all out on the map of Wrangle, or maybe they go all out on the map of Miramar, but they immediately need to slow down, because as you get winner chicken dinners, or maybe come in the top two, top five in a map, you have the confidence. So you look forward to being and going aggressive in the similar manner, and eventually face your own downfall, because you thought you will be ready for the fight, but immediately another map comes in. The team which fell off very early did not get any points. They will have a lot more aggression packing in them. They'll be looking forward to taking you down. They'll be looking forward to the points, because if they missed in on a single map, they'll be looking forward to counter it and balance it out in the upcoming matches. So teams need to understand that every team right now, as of now, in this long journey, yes, we'll try to play slow, we'll try to play fast, but which is that map, which map will be their slow map, which map will be their aggressive map? These things cannot be speculated, these things cannot be concluded, it cannot be written on a bond paper and given out saying that this team will play like this in this map. They will change it, they know what is at stakes, and if they don't change it, it's going to be easy as once written in a pen and book. And when you've written in with the pen on a book, the only way to erase it either is by the tearing the page, or maybe itself buying a new book. So if you're doing the same things, the book is already ready with your opponent. I'm looking forward to how this pans out. Yes, Miramar, we have seen a lot of these teams, the Shita, play out, but again, playing with in grand finals with six invited champ teams, it's not going to be that easy.
It never is, right? It never is. Moreover, this map of Miramar, not just this map, but talking overall about this BGMI, this game is just out of prediction. You
Hmm.
predict something.
Oh, I guess we have had some issue over here from Darshita's end. I'm just looking forward to confirm. Yes, I think so. She will be back with us. She will join us in a jiffy. I think. I mean, these kind of issues do
Mhm.
happen, so that's the reason we are looking forward to it. No issues on that, but in the meantime, I guess I do have my co-caster so that I can bring him in while Darshita fixes her issue. Raider, welcome back to the desk, man. I mean, what a match it was. I
Ah,
mean, I don't know what is going to be happening. The map of Miramar itself has taken I would say, speculative turn after seeing the map of Wrangle, how it has been. So, what are your thoughts heading into the second match of Grand Finals?
It's going to be interesting to see that how the carnage is going to pan out for all of these teams. Well, I'm pretty glad to be on this guest desk again right now. We
Hmm.
have casted the semi-finale. We saw the carnage coming up in the semi-finale, but eventually the grand finale. It's a new day, it's a new beginning, and it is going to be the, let's say, do or die situation coming up for the teams right now. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch that how the retaliation is going to be there, how the point system is going to rack at this point, and eventually everything is going so smooth. But the carnage is too much that we don't know. A sense of suspense is still there in our hearts right now
Oh,
that what is
yes.
going to happen. Team Celsius, meanwhile, was on the back foot in the, let's say, 6 or 7 zone. They were not getting as much as finishes, but then eventually they wiped out Team Soul, and after that, once again, the carnage was there. Slowly but slowly, they came up to the winner chicken dinner. So I guess that's how the leaderboard is also going to turn out. Well, we still have 41 more matches to see.
Exactly. There's a lot more matches coming your way, guys. It's not going to be ending here in day one or ending here in day two or day three, and that's the reason we are letting telling you guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and also hit that bell icon. It's going to be very crucial for you guys also, so that it reaches out to the entire BGMI community, because as I said, this is not the only tournament. You guys will also have a chance to participate. Head over to at the rate Sky Esports Gaming, and also at the rate Sky Esports Grand Slam. For all the Grand Slam updates, you will
Yeah.
get it at the rate Sky Esports Grand Slam. For all the tournament updates for various different titles, it will be announced at the rate Sky Esports Gaming when you can register, because here in this AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam, we had 10,000 plus registrations, out of which 3,000 qualified teams managed to actually play the qualifiers, and from there on it just trickled down. Very minute teams that have made their way in semis itself. In quarters, the teams which actually entered in the semis, out of 24 teams, we just got to see 6 teams qualify, but right as now 16 teams playing it out. Let's head over to the player
Uh,
cameras. They are ready for the match. Let's see how they will be playing it out, Raider, because this is going to be the second match, and as we promised our viewers, there's no breaks coming through. You will get a chance to see the overall standings or the leaderboards, but then immediately we get back into the game, and teams look forward to fight in every single map, back to back 6 maps in a row.
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. The schedule is interesting. The fight's gonna be interesting. Team EXO, meanwhile, getting amped up at the spy. Team Forever also getting that last victory yesterday, but eventually they are still qualified. They are going to be amazing to watch. But eventually, Team Enigma Gaming, after that sweet little interview, I guess this team is going to bounce back sharply. Well, Team Mayavi is also ready eventually in the fights. Team Entity Gaming also trying to gain their pace, getting their stadiums into the perspective, getting that initial lobby, let's say, suspense for them. And eventually, if I talk about Team TSM, well, I guess the start was not that good for the team, but yeah, the ending will be into their favor, I guess, if I'm not wrong.
Let's see how it is going to be. But right as of now, thank you for joining, Raider, for the, I would say, in between, like we had the
Mhm.
difficulty with Darshita. Now I'll be bringing in Darshita back as my co-captain here for the map of Miramar. We're going to be enjoying this, because this is going to be a different map. This is going to be a different fight. And look at the flight path. It is favoring close to the western side, and which will be encompassing Chumacera through El Pozo to Creative Fields. And this is going to be very interesting, because the places such as Junkyard, El Hazar, and even Los Leones, not too far away, but still somewhere the teams will be looking forward to maybe even fight, or maybe even stay away from fights. But the first circle, where do you think will be falling, Darshita?
Please get it anywhere but not Los Leones. I mean, please do that for me. Please, BGMI gods, if you are listening to me, I have been saying this since the very, very first day of semi-finales. Los Leones is not something that I am really looking forward to. I mean, I do completely. Oh no! I do completely agree for a fact that Los Leones is the biggest city of this entire map of Miramar. But on the
Mm-hmm.
other hand, you get to play on beautiful compounds as well. I mean, you talk about Saint Martin, Impala, Crater Fields, El Pozo. There are so many beautiful compounds in this entire map. But once again, I mean, the first prediction, the first place one is not something that is working into my favor. But I guess the second one definitely can be.
Oh man, it's going to be very interesting on how these will actually pan out. As you said, you did not want to see Los Leones and BGMI gods, just like we talk about the Caster's Curse, right? They do the exact opposite, and that's what is happening here. But in the meantime, it looks like the side of Chemin or the side of Celsius did actually spot out a team. They're waiting for the opportunity. But wait, what? Godlike players are running around. TSM players are actually looking forward to running away with the
What?
vehicle. They do not have the weapons. This is what happens early on casualties. You see the mistakes being done from Shadow from the side of TSM. He had the vehicle, he could have made the easy run, but because he got a little bit flustered over there, he crashed into a tree, and his vehicle had no movement, because of which the amount of damage had been done, and his vehicle could burst at any moment if a couple of more bullets connect. Shadow's health is also not that great, but in the meantime, to provide cover, late
Oh
but not the
no!
latest, it's going to be the shots being connected from
Oh!
Aquanox. He gets a knock. What a play coming in, but also Blaze making it happen and finishing off Z-God. Godlike thought they had the upper hand, but TSM immediately rotate and get the first pick of this map of Miramar. Wait, what?
What? What is this way to start the map of Miramar? I mean, we talk about early casualties happening. We talk so much about the map of Miramar, but the only thing that we just didn't mention a while ago was this thing just happened a while ago. I mean, just look at this. Look at this. The way this thing started. Godlike managed to do a lot of damage on the sides of Shadow, but what other players of TSM did, they just went away. They found themselves some good utilities to work around with, and eventually GodL lost one of their player at a really early stage. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of Team Soul right now, 4-on-4 surviving players for them, and I guess after one or two players that are down to the ground, the lobby, the entire play zone gets completely passive. That's not passive is the word I would use, but definitely everything is just at a piece, right?
Man, I'm not too sure what to talk about right as of now in terms of the lobby, Darshita, because again, in the first map of Wrangle, we thought it's going to be a slow paced map, but no, every team said we are going to be starting off right as of now. We are not going to let any opportunity, I would say, run away if it's presented ourselves. But Entity also looking forward to getting a winner chicken dinner. They're getting spammed from a different direction, and look at the dodge coming through from Troy. He's just jumping seats right and left, and he's trying to make sure he survives. He does not have a lot of utilities to survive, and that's the reason he's waiting for the opportunity that the dip works out. Entity Noob on the other end, he also does not have a lot of loot. But talking about the side of God, like they thought they could play around with the side of TSM, but they have lost a player very crucial. It's Z-God himself, and that is now how would they plan it out. Yes, I'm looking forward to how would they make it work. It's not always easy, but what do you think? How will it change? And also for the side of Chemin here, how will it change? Because they were also one of those top teams in the last map of Erangel.
I do completely agree with that. Right now, they are just looking forward to everything that they need. I mean, not just them, but yeah, each and every team right now is just looking forward to everything that they need. And you talk about the sides of Team Kevin, like we were just mentioning a while ago, they are looking good with the utilities, but they are far away from the zone, and that is something that they need to be really careful about. Right now, rotating can be one most important factor, and if you are not able to do that really pinpoint precise, that can really cause a lot of problems for your team. But coming back to all other teams, they somewhere are, some teams are just near to the zone, some teams are really far away, and with this not complete centralized zone is what we have, but somewhere a center hold is what we got to see a while ago. And you know Sam, I'm just hoping for the next zone to be somewhere into the upper areas and not down back to the Los Leones.
You're rooting for it not being at Los Leones,
Yeah,
and
please don't.
I think BGMI gods are going to do the exact opposite. They're like, oh, you did not want. Oh, wait, you wanted Los Leones. Okay, I got it. I'm going to turn it to Los Leones. I mean, let's see. Yes, jokes apart, this game is going to be very interesting as well because Erangel did not pan out the a lot of these teams wanted to. They, in terms of aggression and finishes, you saw in the top teams of maybe the number of seven, top seven to top eight, everybody had finishes going on for them, 4 to 5 finishes as a minimum. But after that, they started having a downfall. Yes, the circle was a major factor. It started shifting right, left, and center. Not hard shifts, but at least the shifts which left a couple of players and teams out, because of which they had to come in, and then they had to play a different position. And having zero information or very less information was the reason they started falling apart and lost the map of Erangel. So here on the map of Miramar, already being such an open map, open casualties that can happen during rotations is something that every team needs to be watching out for. Team Nugget is going to be one of those teams, as I was also talking about, staying on top. They did manage to try and pull off something, but they saw, right, it was various different teams playing in the same edges of the circle, and Team Nugget got also finished off. Skylightz also, somewhere they were ready. They had a player casualty on the map of Wrangle, but once they actually were looking forward to play in a compound, they thought that their backlines were clear and they did not even check it properly, and it was a free finish for the side of 7C, a slamming, and the entire team got eliminated.
I completely agree with that. Skylightz Gaming right now need to be really careful. I mean, after one match not working out into their favor, at least if the second one does, I mean, you will talk about the very first day, you need to be really careful on the first day itself. You need to rackle up at least something on the first day so that you can continue with that on the second. You got nothing out of first day and then you start your journey on the second. My friend, you are losing one complete day out of 7 days, and trust me, that's a huge loss that you will be facing. On the other hand, talk about the sides of Team OG right now. They are just looking forward to a compound to work around with. They are just focusing on the rotations with all the different vehicles that they have got for themselves. But once again, vehicles and Miramar is not a thing that goes hand by hand. So Really be
Yeah.
careful with everything that you do.
It's always a heartbreaking love story. The ending is not
Yeah,
good in
true.
Miramar with the vehicles. So let's see how that is going to be panning out. Enigma Avi, he did get caught out very early on. Can he actually survive a little bit longer? Because we know how crucial Enigma Avi is for his team. A lot of the times, whenever he's picked up the fights, the teams have actually found success and won the particular map. But right as now, the second circle is about to form and
Oh,
it's taking a close to center and a little bit of a north and an eastern shift. So not something that teams have to be worried about. But as teams are getting into the circle, there might be fights because you can see the side of Celsius and Entity. They're very close and they're looking forward to push up to the edge of the circle. I'm not too sure if it's going to be the side of Celsius first picking up the fight or it's going to be both of the teams disengaging. But look at the play coming in from the side of Chemin. I think previously also they did try this play out, but right as now, let's talk about the fight. It's going to be Team Forever's player, one of them, that's going to be always Bolte, I guess, spotted out from a lower edge angle. He has received a lot of the damage. Not too sure about the number of utilities that he has to patch himself up. But Nexus,
no,
he gets finished off
no.
from Team Nugget. The vehicles being bursted have started here. The fireworks of the vehicles have started here, Darshita. And Miramar gets ready for every team because your vehicles are going to be either burnt up or bursted up, or maybe even the tires being blown out.
Never ever in my worst dream ever am I, trusting the stability of vehicles in this map of Miramar. I am not just doing that. Well, on the other side, we do have the
Oh!
sides of Team Nugget. Always Bolte. What was that? Tap shots with a direct head connection. One player is down to the ground. Always Bolte, a great one that he caught for his team, but on the other hand, the sides of Team 8-bit are somewhere nearby, and he really needs to be careful for the fact that if he gets caught at this position, it can be really difficult. Always Bolte once again holding a great angle. Team Nugget can really be into difficult spot, but on the other hand, we do have one more fight happening. That's mini 14 tap shots once again from Soul Player 3 onto the upper hilly areas. That's TSM Ninja Jord, if I'm not wrong.
Exactly, such a big scope and a fight in the long range is being picked with the mini. Mini is a destructive weapon, I would say. I mean, the tap shots always get connected precisely. Yes, it's all on the player as well, how he aims and he connects those shots, and it's looking really good for a couple of these players. But Soul, after their, I would say, good start. I'm not going to say it's going to be a great start. They tried their best, got a couple of finishes, and also placed a little bit better. But right as now, it's the second map coming through. They need to close in the distance that the side of Celsius have created. But always Bolte,
No,
it is spot Anuj.
no.
Grenades being exchanged from both the ends. Always Bolte had a better opportunity. He runs back away. Anuj, I guess, receives a little bit of a chip damage, but in between this, it was Nugget pushing in, and always Bolte had no clue that the player came up close, and it's still not the confirmation of Team Forever. They're still surviving just by the thin needle, thin hair wire that they have, and looking forward to maybe a better conclusion on this map of Miramar. Two players surviving. Do you think they can pull it off or at least survive, Darshita?
Survival is the only thing that they can do right now.
Hmm.
I mean, getting into a fight with four players and risking the position you can get for your team is not something that you can be doing at this moment. But on the other hand, let's just talk about one more fight happening. Nugget, no, get down off that vehicle, please. Once again, not a vehicle blast that I've been expecting from Team Nugget right now. Gets caught onto a real different angle by the sides of Team Entity Pro. He's just on that verge of getting his buggy blasted, but there you go. He will be finding a dip to work around with, and that's where things will start to work to his favor. On the other hand, you talk about Badsha. He will be having a UMP. UMP is a gun that is definitely a destructive one in a close range, but when you talk about long range, that's going to be an M16A4 that he is working around with. Pro OP, he has been finished. What? Pro OP has been finished completely, and it's just three surviving player for Team Nugget. How did it happen?
I have no clue. I mean, at this,
What
I'm getting confused right as now. Am
exactly?
I watching? Okay, I'm going to forget it because trying to recapitulate it and recapitalize and again talk about it is going to be difficult. It's still a fight that the side of Team Nugget are looking forward to survive. Entity pushing forward. They have kind of information, not the entire one of the side of Team Nugget. They're playing in close quarters, but we have talked about it majority of the times. You have to play together as a team. You split up, you're going to be easily, I would say, able to caught out in the open and destroyed one after another, and that's what is happening here for the side of Nugget. But if you talk about the side of Velocity, this time they've not had the early casualty, because of which they're surviving, and looks like they'll be able to grab a lot more points compared to the map of Erangel.
They definitely can. And there you go. Team Nugget is down to the ground, and right now Dark Lord is just trying to confirm him as soon as possible. Team Nugget, I guess the only, if it is the last surviving player or two, I'm not completely sure of the fact, but all the players left from the side of Team Nugget right now do have just one option to run for their life. Eventually, if they get into a fight in the blues, it can be difficult for them to survive, whereas the team entity can make it out of this fight. Out of all this being said and done, we do have one more fight happening to the sides of Team EXO and TSM. Right now, somewhere down the hilly areas, we just saw VLT one player, if I'm not wrong. But on the other hand, you have Team Entity Noob taking down Max Kush. Even Team Mayavi getting into a fight. That's so much of happening. Ninja Jord will be parking his vehicle really beautiful. But what's next is going to be my question.
What's next is going to be everybody's question, Darshita, not only yours, and it looks like Entity for them. The question is getting more finishes. They spotted out Oya, and yes, they finish him off, and that's going to be the end. I guess for the side of Team Forever, it was the last surviving player, and with that Entity, they have 3 finishes for themselves. And again, with 0 finishes and no placement points, the side of Team Forever is going to be the first team. Previously, they were not the first team, but they were the last team to be in the overall standings, and right as now, they'll still be the last team at the overall standings because they did not get anything. But in between this, we did see, I guess, Joker from the side of Team Mayavi getting confirmed. Unfortunate for them, they're going to be having a casualty. Nugget on the other end, 2 finishes for them, 2 casualties. They'll be looking forward to doing something better. But right as now, you saw Team Mayavi, the team that was pushing them was the side of Skylightz Gaming. Soul is in a fight with another team, and they're looking forward to convert. Skylightz on the other end, after taking up that finish on the side of Team Mayavi's player, is feeling really great. Team Nugget also facing the Wrath right as now is going to be getting a casualty towards their end. That's going to be Bacha OP getting knocked, and very soon it's going to be the last surviving player who needs to lift the entire responsibility of the team. But in the meantime, Akshat spots a player from the side of 7C. He does the damage, the vehicle gets bursted, and Prince is right now knocked. And this is why we talk about the vehicles in the map of Miramar. It's going to be very crucial. But Nuggets, Bacha OP, he is going to be confirmed to the play zone. 7C Prince will be also confirmed, and Dark Lord also starts falling apart. Entity spent a lot of time in the blue zone, and now you can see the zone doing the damage on them.
Waiting in the blues is not something that you do, and especially in this kind of map, please don't be doing that. There you go, NTT, one more player. I mean, that's just the 3rd and the 4th zone that you are going down with. Imagine having next upcoming zone, and oh my god, Entity, one more player down with play zone. What is happening? Team Entity, what is wrong with you guys? I mean, what did just happen there? Please just do show me. I guess it's just one surviving player. I am not sure of what team entity is exactly up to, but on the other hand, let's focus more on the ongoing fights between the sides of Team Enigma and Team GodL. Well, Neo right now is just trying his level best to take one player down, but is careful at the same time because he knows that his team has suffered one casualty, and right now going aggressive over any enemy can just pay him a lot. So that's I guess the only reason that Team GodL right now is looking a bit of safe, but not for a longer period of time. Kill is down to the ground and is being confirmed by AK as well. After this confirmation, GodL is down to 2 players. On the other hand, Chemin Esports and EXO is getting into a fight. 420 OP will be confirming one. Push Barrage there is trying to take one more player down, but right now Team Enigma has just decided to go ham on the sides of Team GodL. I am not sure of what exactly is going to happen next, but with this grenade of Neo, it can be a possibility of one at least player going down.
Exactly, they're looking forward to it. With the 3-man squad, they're looking forward to make it work. Grenades, mollies, many things coming across, but still none of them connecting. But what is going to be connecting is going to be the bullets from the side of Skylightz. Believe has been knocked. It's going to be Ash. He's very up close and he's ready for the fight, but his health is not favoring him. In the meantime, Aquanox answers for Velocities. Daljit, he's knocked them. Orangutan Penchancon will be getting one knock for himself. Aquanox confirming, no, it's going to be a knock on Billion. Skylightz, OG Trigger is down. I guess it's going to be the last surviving player very soon, but in the meantime, billion gets confirmed. Eggy also gets knocked, and Exo Snack also falls apart. And look at right now, Neo making his grenade action work. Grenade magic come through, but right as now, Skylightz Gaming also looking forward to push. They immediately receive the damage, but Ash still making it work. But in the meantime, Pew Pew will be confirming Entity Noob, and I guess that's going to be the end of Team Entity as well. Playzone is going to be eliminating VLT Daljit. And what is happening? Why are teams and players falling down to the Playzone? 8-bit Madman also after his knocker finish that he did, he gets knocked. TSM Ninja George, he's taking a player from the side of 7C. Spray God gets confirmed as well from Ninja George's hand itself. Shadow OG now taking upon the side of Velocities. Kratos, one after another. TSM is going ham on the side of Velocity. And look at that, Slayer gets confirmed. That should be the end of Velocity, but on your screens, it's going to be the side of Godlike pushing down and making sure the team that was trying to push them up will be finished off. I'm not too sure where to look at, Darshita. Either should I talk about the kill feed or should I talk about the action going on the screens? Both the sides, you can see kills and finishes and knocks being done. Soul is looking forward to start and push up. It looks like a couple of their players are stuck, and that's the reason Soul needs to commit for this fight.
So much is going on, so much. Right now you were just talking about the sides of teams, so let me continue it with saying that right now Goblin is just all set to go in for some grenades. But Goblin, where are you cooking that grenade, my friend? Okay, that's gonna be Madman down there. Juicy is being caught as well by the sides of Goblin. Akshat and player 3 is down to the ground, but right now Goblin manages to take one, but in return he is just getting more and more bullets on him, such that he needs to be really careful, really careful about Goblin. He is really running low on his HP, needs to patch himself up, but Chemin Esports has been eliminated as well. GodL Neo is going to be the last surviving player, and he will be taking one onto the sides of Evo Italy, but will be instantly finished, and that's going to be Team Godlike getting eliminated on the 8th position. Team Soul right now, 2 players are down to the ground where the revival can be initiated but can't. But at the same time, 8-bit just decides to go on ham towards the sides of Team Soul, and right now Goblin is going to be the last surviving player. Team 8-bit just has a great opportunity to go ham and eliminate and just completely eliminate one squad and just rackle up 2 more finishes for themselves. But on the other hand, 7C Sarong with 1 grenade will be taking 1 player down. Right now, Team Soul, okay, the both of the players are doing fine with their health. They are back to their life, and just waiting to see what this deadly duo has got to play with. But the duo won't last for a longer period of time, as Team Soul is being eliminated completely on the 9th position. Okay, play zone. What? Again?
1 player. Yes.
No, please, Playzone, don't be so harsh on the players. On the other hand, you talk about the sides of team TSM right now with 7 finishes, looking so strong. With the grenades on the hands of Shadow, this can be really devastating for Tsunami. This can bring a Tsunami into his life, but right now Shadow needs to just satisfy himself with some of the damages. Oh my god, Sam, I just didn't really expect this map to turn table around.
Man, it's just becoming chaotic right now here, Darshita. I'm not too sure what to talk about, but the side of TSM are holding strong. But Tsunami finds an opening on Ninja. George Shadow in the forefront. Right has now done the damage. 1 grenade connection, 2 players, both of them knocked. An immediate finish coming in, and he's going to be getting 2 players, a free finish coming in. But look at the push again on Juicy. He finished that as a player, or another knock coming through. Shadow, what a match this man is turning out to be. A 1v4 for this lone player. He'd had players with his end. He had players surviving. He had his teammates who could have played with, but he did not care. As soon as a knock came on Ninja George, he became like a monster, and he threw grenades. He used his rifles, and what a finish to that fight. That's going to be the end for the side of 8-bit with 8 finishes, but the side of 7C still looking forward to push up and making it work. I guess it's going to be the last surviving player, and he gets finished off from the side of Celsius. Apollo and 7C are also out of the game, but Enigma out in the open at the edge of the circle, and also not even at the edge of the circle, my bad, they're still at the zone, so it's going to be very difficult for them. But the side of Skylightz, they have the edge of the circle, but they do not have the uphill for themselves. So Darshita, the side of Skylightz Gaming, even the circle is favoring for them, my bad, the uphill battle is going to be difficult for them.
The excitement excitement level of caster is just hitting on different level right now. But
Correct.
on the other hand, we do have the sides of Team Enigma. Celsius Apollo is down to the ground. Enigma Rex just reviving his player back to his life. That's going to be Evo Italy there. On the other hand, Enigma Eggy with that mini 14 tap shots. He can make it work and he does that. Somraj is down to the ground. Enigma Eggy is trying his level best to cover as much angles as he can till the time the revival is done. And there you go, revival is done. But on the other hand, you talk about Skylightz Gaming. Somraj is down to the ground. Kamla Boy is trying his level best, and I guess that's a kind of glitch that we are spectating right now. We're not just able to see that player, but to see the amount of damage is this. Pokar on the other hand, with some smokes, he's just gonna block the visions of enemy, but will that work into his favor? Evo Italy down there has been confirmed by the side of Skylightz Gaming, new player, and Team Mayavi on the other hand is just left with that deadly duo, Edmino and Knuckle, the two sole surviving players for the sides of Team Mayavi. But
What?
grenade, no, one grenade, Exo Punk, oh my god! What? Once again, with one grenade, two players will be eliminated completely, and that's done and dusted for the sides of Team Mayavi as well.
Sixth place is all they're going to get. A couple of placement points, but the grenade in this map of Miramar. Are you
No,
kidding me?
what's
Another one?
what?
Wow, my god, Vixie will be confirmed from Rex. Apollo, his health is very low. Another grenade, Rex, you have it, my friend. I'm not too sure if he has it. I'm just
Do
excited
that.
right as now to see the
Please do
grenade.
that.
Oh my god, already we have seen, I guess, 4 or 5 grenade knocks and finishes coming through Darshita. And I guess it's about to happen, but it did not happen from the side of at the side of EXO. It did happen from the side of Skylightz, who were coming in from the lower ground, but right now the circle is also pushing them. The side of Skylightz looking forward to a hope in the horizon. It's going to be very difficult for them to climb up. It's only going to be happening if somebody stops the side of EXO from the sides that they have. They have every side working for them, every angle they have covered. So there's going to be no team that can climb close to them. But with just 2 players, the opportunity still stays for the side of Skylights, for the side of Celsius. It needs to be just at the right time that multiple different teams need to start pushing in. But right
No.
now, it's going to be Skylights finding the EXO Sensei, and that's going to be very crucial. This is the opening that they needed. Punk, if he goes for the revive, he can again look forward to another fight. If he doesn't, if he himself picks up a fight, that might be the end of EXO. But in these fights, look at Enigma. They've just come to a
Exactly.
standstill.
Exactly. I mean, what a beautiful position Team Enigma is holding. That dip can work into their favor, but not for a longer period of time, as they are not into the play zone. And playing in the blue is not something that you would really do in this last zone. Right now, Punk is just waiting behind patiently. He is just, it's just a confusing factor of what to do. Punk, no. What? The blue zone is going to hit him really bad, and this time he will be deciding to go in for a heal battle. The map of Miramar is just turning things all around, and for us as a caster, the excitement level is just hitting different. Sensei will be going in. The boss was he just went forward, and that's where Pukar confirmed him. On the other hand, Enigma Rex will be down to the ground. Max any moment can just walk up to his face, and that's what exactly is happening. Max's location is being confirmed, but so is for the sides of Team Enigma. Rex there, Max, no. Skylightz Gaming, new player out of the blue, is just confirming one more player down there. Right now, it's 4 teams and 7 finishes, where you can see the sides of Team EXO going in for a heal battle. If this player eventually gets his team to top 3 or top 2, that can be a big thing. Pukar, this grenade from both the sides can be devastating for both of the teams. One more grenade, that's the third one. Pukar, stop, my friend, stop.
Punk!
EXO Punk will be taking one before he goes down, and right now, Celsius Max, what? He is the last surviving player into a 1v3 situation. New player is down to the ground, but no! That's done. That's done and dusted. Team Skylightz Gaming getting their first winner chicken dinner in the second map of AMD SKYESPORTS GRANDSLAM.
Man,
Oh
Darshita,
my
this
god!
map of Miramar, I'm so confused that so many teams here were looking forward to finding success. But if we want to talk about what happened here in this map of Miramar, it was that the side of Skylightz Gaming, they understood they have the number advantage. All that they need is going to be isolating players, and they did that brilliantly. They isolated Exo Sensei, you saw them isolating TSM Shadow, and you saw them isolating one after another. Players were just getting isolated. We will see that again very soon, but this was just unbelievable. Skylights
Oh
waited
my
for the
god.
opportunity. I did talk about it as well. For them to get a winner chicken dinner, it's possible, but they are at the lower edge. They have to find a way to isolate the fights and start pushing up, and that's what they did. And all the last 1v1 fights, Celsius Max, even the last surviving player, he had the hope. Exopunk out of the blue zone, he had hope. TSM Shadow, he had the hope. Everybody will be looking forward to picking up the fights. Being the top four teams, they were trying to push forward. And Celsius, still a great map for them. Even though we have seen that teams immediately after getting a winner chicken dinner get eliminated very early on in the second upcoming match, Celsius survived for the longest year on the map of Miramar after being a team that got the winner chicken dinner. So the number of points and the difference that they could have made could be more than better for them right as of now, but it also depends on how much Skylights were able to do in this match that pushes them a little bit forward. All these questions will be answered, Darshita, but the map of Miramar, I'm again getting confused.
Oh my god.
Too many things going on. There was one point of time that I had to have look in two different directions. But right as now, let's look at one direction of the highlights and see if any action that we missed. It started off when Nexus was trying to make a run and he got finished off with the Wiz vehicle getting bursted off.
I completely agree with that. The moment the vehicle just went on fires, I was like, okay, this map of Miramar is not something that is really usual. On the other hand, the sides of Team Godlike, after losing one of their player on an initial stages, somewhere were stumbling, and after that, eventually they lost second of the player. The deadly duo was not really able to gather so much for themselves, and at the end of the day, Team Godlike was eventually eliminated. The sides of Team Soul were looking good to this point, but after that, one-on-one player just kept on falling down like dominoes, and that's where each and every problem arose. But the exchange of grenades, the amount of grenades, the total amount of grenades that have been popped the entire match, I am just confused of how can these grenades be so pinpoint precise.
I am again. The grenades is just going to be the practice play that these teams have been doing. They've understood what works and what doesn't. But look at this Enigma. They had the opportunity to take down the side of Skylightz, but the distance between them was the major factor because of which they could not catch up. And not only that, you can see here Celsius was there in between, but the grenade coming in, it does the damage. They confirm Vixie immediately. Then you see Sensei, he was looking forward to picking up a fight, but he gets spotted from the side of Skylightz, and Skylightz were brilliantly isolating fights. There was no chance that any of the teams could have retaliated. Or look at these grenades coming through. TSM Shadow was looking forward to fight it, but Punk fights with him and does the job for the side of Skylightz Gaming. They just needed their flanks to be cleared, and teams just fought amongst themselves and cleared it for them, because of which they were more than happy. But right as now, let's talk about the stars of the match right in front of your screens. It is Gamla Boy again. We saw Gamla Boy previously also semi-finals lifting his team up, making sure he has the finishes, and also even if his team is stuck in a situation where they can face elimination, he was doing the job. Six finishes for him, no bonus. He has worked hard for it, and the amount of damage that he has done is going to be 579. Evo Italy from the side of Enigma, he has done and worked as a best companion with the revives that he's given. It's going to be three. He has given an assist also, but his survival time was 1297. Talking about Skylight's Gamla Boy, the finisher, man. You see him in the first as the star of the match. You're seeing him in the end as well as the star and the finisher of the map of Miramar.
Gamla Boy has just did a beautiful job. There you go. MVP of the match, Skylightz Gaming, Gamla Boy with six finishes and a contribution of 54.55% in the entire match to the match of Miramar. And trust me, if this is what Miramar is going to look like in the map in the grand finals, I am just wishing to see more and more Miramar. I mean, yeah, I do agree that this map is something that I'm really scared of. But at the other hand, what one LFS show did we just witness a while ago? The number of grenades, the number of damage being dealt, and everything was just so amazing. Gamla boy just did a fantastic job for his entire team and for himself as well. As we just keep on saying this again and again, that we do have individual prizes as well. But talking more about the standings, team Skylightz Gaming accumulated a total of 26 points for themselves with a delicious winner chicken dinner. And the second position, we have the sides of team TSM with a total of 18 for them.
The I would say the distance is getting a little bit close, but still the side of Celsius, the 6 point lead that they had, they're looking forward to push it even further away from these teams. They have raked 14 points for themselves in total. EXO coming in the fourth position with 14 as well for themselves, but the placement points is going to be better, and that's the reason you can see Celsius in the third position. Fifth position is going to be for the side of Enigma with 12 points, and six finishes team 8-bit as well. Eight finishes for them, but they could not control the fight at the last circles and they got eliminated. Team Mayavi on the other end will be getting just four placement points at the sixth position that they got eliminated. If they got finishes, they could have come close to 10 points, the double digits at least. And then we see the side of 7C Esports got eliminated during the rotation, and Miramar out in the open rotations is always casualty based, and you can see for them total of 4 points. Soul have three finishes for them and one placement point. They were working hard, but you know as well, open fights are something that can be 50-50, 60-60, 60-40, or maybe even 70-30. All the numbers that are rising from 50 to 70 are the ones in terms of you losing the fight, not actually capitalizing. In the open, you are in a huge disadvantage. Talking about entity with just 3 points, and it is all on the finishes. Godlike, one finish and one placement point for them. Chemin, same goes for them, so total 2 points. Nugget on the other end, two finishes, and they will be ending at two total as well. Orangutan, one for their valiant affairs in terms of their position, but velocity, they look like they started off good in the map of Miramar, but one is all they get. And Team Forever for a second time consecutively here, Darshita, 0 points is what they're ending up with.
This is a point of concern right now.
Exactly.
I mean, I do completely understand for a fact that Team Forever, they just have played two matches, but if you start the way start the grand finales this way, it can cause a lot of problems. We will be having more discussions, but right now, overall rankings after the second match is all set, where we can see the sides of Team Celsius with leading the charts, I would say, with 11 finishes, 27 position points, one delicious chicken dinner, and a total of 38 for them. On the second position, we do have the sides of team Skylightz Gaming. 9 point difference is what we have right now. 27 total for them, 15 position points, 12 finish points, and one chicken dinner for them as well.
I'm looking forward to how this is going to be working out. My bad. It looked like there was some technical glitch. I was about to speak and it glitched out, but nonetheless, as you said, Nugget still on the top here, Darshita. So they'll be looking forward to making their way a little bit better and climb up as well. But right as now, there's going to be a little bit of a discrepancy on how the next page of the overall standing is going to be panning out here, because a lot of these teams are, yes, working hard, but it's not going to be easy for them. I'm looking forward to how it is going to be, I would say, the second phase that we are going to be starting off, where we are going to be seeing Miramar, Sanok, and Erangel here, Darshita. That's where it's going to get interesting. In the first phase or the first half, you see two Erangels where the teams can actually, in terms of balancing it out, can think, okay, the first map of Erangel did not work in our favor, maybe the second map of Erangel, which is going to be upcoming after this overall rankings that we are seeing on how they can play it out, maybe get a little bit of a better points. On talking about the second phase that we were wanting to look at, you can see the teams still the side of God, like the 12th position is where the double digits are. So starting it off with the ninth position, it's going to be Enigma with balancing both their finishes and placement points, total of 14. 8 pint on the other end, showing us their aggression, 12 finishes and just two placement points. So it does put I would say thought of concern for the side of 8-bit, that they should look forward to getting placement points, and then maybe they can be on the first page of the overall standings. 7C as well, showing us their aggression along with the side of Godlike. 7C having total 13 points, Godlike having 12 points. The difference right is now maybe 1 or 2 points respectively for every team. But then talking about the side of Team Mayavi, 9 point for themselves, Orangutan, Velocity, and followed by the last team is going to be Team Forever with no points at all. Skylights are the winners and the chicken dinners for the second map of Miramar, but the third map of Wrangle is going to be presenting itself, Darshita, and here is where everything can turn. The first map was a starter map. Teams were looking forward to understand each other. But right as now, Erangel again coming back. This, I think, will be an eye opener for a lot of teams as well as us as viewers and casters.
I completely agree with that. Right now, talking more about the grand finals itself, I mean, I would really like to mention that, yeah, you need to make a balance between your placement and your finish point from day one itself. I am really being, very clear on this statement when I say, because you saw that you just said a while ago the sides of Team 8-bit. They got good amount of finishes, but why are they on the second sides of overall standing? That's because of the position points. If they manage to take great position points that the other teams are trying to do there, they can be on the first side. Not just about talking about 8-bit, it's a n number of teams that I can talk about. Like, you have to be consistent, you have to make sure that you have a great balance between the finish and the position points from the day one itself, and if you are able to do that, I guess that can really matter a lot. Day one, day two, each and every team is performing. From day three, we can see a comeback happening, because day three and day
Exactly.
four is really, I mean, I shouldn't be using the word famous, but yeah, we eventually do see the comebacks happening on those days only.
Exactly. I mean, I would say because this is, as you said, a day, 7 days long tournament, teams will be looking forward to making a comeback on the third and the fourth day because that's the halfway mark that we see about this tournament. If they make that comeback, yes, that's going to be a new, I would say, halfway enlightenment. I mean, I cannot say it's enlightenment, but still, it's going to be a new page and a new leaf that they'll be turning for themselves and their team itself, and also getting a new hope that is going to be rising in terms of getting to the trophy. Because, yes, halfway mark is going to be very crucial because somewhere down the line after the first, second, and the third day, teams will also start losing their energy because we saw in the when during the interview itself, a lot of the players after playing tournaments are exhausted and will be looking forward to re-energize themselves. And the way to re-energize themselves is going to be playing consistently or playing on the maps that they feel confident, and on the other maps looking forward to just rotations and placement points. If they give it their all in every map on all the 7 days, for us as viewers and casters, as I was talking about, it is going to be interesting, yes, but in terms of the factor of how much stamina and energy you have, it will drain you. And when it comes to the fourth and fifth day, even if you were table toppers and you had a difference of maybe even 30 points, one good day for one specific team is enough to dethrone you and snatch away the champions title. So every team needs to start watching out. You saw Celsius is still on top, but the number of points that they, yes, created 6 point lead, and right as you know added an extra 3 point in their favor and creating a 9 point lead, it'll not be enough. If Erangel does not pan their way in this map that is coming through, they might actually fall down and the first position might be given up here, Darshita. So I think for every team, it's a caution. It's a caution call. They have to make sure that any team that is playing with aggression, we saw three teams, 8-bit, 7C, and another team along with them, who were going all out with their guns and just getting finishes. Even the side of Godlike as well, they had most number of finishes. So these teams, if they start finding a way to balance their placement points, the teams at the tabletop will have a very tough time.
Absolutely agree with you. I mean, if you ask me what is going wrong, after seeing these two matches, the only thing I can say is one player being isolated. We have
Oh
seen this
yes.
happening multiple times, right? Not in just one match, but the second match, what happened at the start of the match? The players that were being isolated, just single players, they were being caught off guard by one entire team, and at that point, everything was just not working into their favors. And that's why we always say that playing together is something that you do. Building synergy between your team is something that you need the most at this point of time. I mean, you just have a different level of confidence when you are sitting beside someone that you trust the most, right? So that's the level of synergy that these players do need to have. And talking more about the grand finals, it's really huge. It's really going to be huge. And look, I mean, just look at the face cams of the players, right? Now you know how important it is for each and every team to do.
Exactly, it's going to be very crucial here, Darshita, for each and every team to perform. Especially, you can see the side of Team Forever; they were concentrated. Same goes for the side of Velocity Gaming. the start has not been that great. We saw the map of Miramar, the action was looking good. Talking about the side of Enigma, a little bit of a fun in games. It is very crucial to set the environment within your teammates and have that synergy that you were just talking about. You cannot be all the time serious and just looking forward to finishers and placement hungry. If you're that way, then eventually some point of the time you'll be unable to take something lightly, and that will just immediately strike your mindset, and the confidence that you had might immediately start changing up, and that will show in your game style and gameplay. And that's the reason teams are also looking forward to take a little bit of a light situation, having some fun in games. But in the meantime, all that jokes apart, let's take a look at the flight path. And the flight path, again, very similar to the first one. I think with Raider and Darshita, you guys being the captain right as now for this map of Wrangle, you're looking forward to giving teams a second chance.
Well,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely.
Okay. So we have got the flight path coming in a diagonal direction. It is going to start from Lipovka, ending in the back end areas of Prismok. Well, it's an interesting flight path. Well, you can see that a majority of the chunk of teams have already jumped at this point. But Darshita, I would like to ask you that where the first play zone is going to dive in at this point.
I mean, I don't really feel like it will go to the western sides. We have seen this
Mm-hmm.
happening in the very first match. The western sides, after the same fly path, the western sides were somewhere near, but somewhere down there, or eastern side is something that I have. But yeah, Sevani can be a good spot as well. I mean, I know I'm predicting three things at the same time, but right now I'm a bit confused of what. No,
Oh.
that's going to be interesting. Once again, a similar kind of play zone is what we have. The western sides is completely at a hold. Katkar wins, Hospital, Shooting Range, Sebani, Rozok. If you find yourself these areas, you can have a greater advantage, a greater chunk of play zone, maybe further.
Yeah, indeed, that could be the case, but eventually the teams have to glide more and eventually get a vehicle so that they can be at that location. But yeah, we have a contestment coming in the area of military base. Other than that, farm and Milta is pretty congested at this point. And there we go. I guess the first initial frag is also there in the area of military base. Let's check it out. Let's see what eventually is happening in that area. And there we go. Chemin Esports going ham on to team number 9, and they have already got one amazing finishes. That's interesting. There we go. Papa nahi manenge. CES 420 OP is going to be there. Billion is actually remaining on the backdrop areas. Let's see what eventually he can do. Well, he's going for the roadside C. That's great for him eventually, but he is going to be chased down by all the other teammates of Team Chemin Esports. And Papa Nimanenge is going to be the front foot area. Cells, he is Chemin Esports Delta PG got the initial frag into his perspective, but yeah, at this moment, Team Velocity is actually losing a lot of ground. Daljit once again has been picked off initially. I guess the first match was also like this for Team VLT, and eventually this match number 3 is also going to be same for the team right now. But yeah, Billion is trying to hold his ground at this point, but Team Chemin Esports, look at that, 3 predators are trying to push in at this point, and they are going to get that prey into their perspective. It's going to be amazing to watch. Meanwhile, if we talk about Slayer and Kratos, well, they are also trying to push in. They are also trying to put that courage into the demonstration. But yes, Billion has been cornered. I guess it's going to be one hell of a fight for him.
I completely agree with that. On the other hand, Billion is down to the ground. He was just caught by two different angle, and that's the reason he is down to the ground. Talking about the sides of Team Velocity, right now they have lost two of their important players. At the early 3 minutes, you just deal with two casualties, and that is just going to make it really difficult for the sides of Team Velocity to survive the entire map. Kratos is all set to move further from the compound, just move away from the compound, but his teammate can be into a lot of troubles. On the other hand, when you talk about the sides of Team GodL, right now they are looking good. They have not dealt any kind of casualties on themselves, 4-on-4 surviving players. So yes, with this unity that they have in their gameplay, they can make this map work into their favor.
Of course, they would like to do that kind of stuff at this point. Yasna Poliana, very good trade drop location where you can get some good loots at this point. And yeah, that's what Team GodL is trying to do. Ushparaj OP, Z-God, Neo, and we are going to see Gil over there in the fight right now. So let's see how the possibilities are going to build at this point. Well, in about 15 seconds, the next zone is going to shrink in. So I guess new casualties could be there right now. Initially, we saw two teams going head to head, and that was Team Chemin Esports versus Team Velocity. Meanwhile, Velocity losing two good players. That was Villian and Daljit, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, two losses for the team. But eventually, if I talk about Team Soul, from the last two matches, they are being consistent. They are trying their level best, getting some good frags into their perspective. But eventually, yeah, we are going to see Soul Akshat Buildup, Player 3, Goblin, and Pew Pew in the fight in the areas of Gutka 6000, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, they are just trying to loot it at this point. Eventually, the loot will be over, and the first zone is also going to shrink in very, very soon. And I guess with the second zone, we are going to see some more teams getting into the clashing areas.
Absolutely, with all the rotations taking place, we may see some casualties happening, we may see some or the other fights happening, and that is something that we all are really excited about. Right now, you talk about Skylightz Gaming, that's going to be Pochinki there. They are just having their hands on everything that they need. Gamla Boy, the MVP of the previous match, will he be able to do that once again? Well, I do have that question, but that can only be answered by Gamla Boy himself. Looking further, they do have vehicles to play around with. That means the rotation. I mean, yeah, they are already into the zone. The first play zone is something that is already favoring them. So there is no need of rotation at this moment. But yes, further you do need to have a vehicle to work around with.
Indeed, the precautions should be taken at this point because 2 matches have been passed. Only 40 more matches are left right now. And I'm saying the word only just because you will never know that when these matches are going to pass through and eventually you are going to lag behind in the terms of leaderboard. So that is something teams are going to put their mind onto at this point. And eventually Team EXO in the Milta area is still trying to loot up. We have Snacks and Panku. The team is trying to muster more and more courage. If I talk about Team 7C Esports, well, they are also going to the banks of Novoripnoi bridges. So let's see how the fights are going to postulate from that angle. Well, we have Prince and Savitar going with a closed top US and an open top US at this point, and I guess that could be a vulnerable decision for the guys because having an open top US is good for rotation. Eventually, the speed is better, I guess, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, it can be very exposing and it can be very damaging for you when a team actually tries to trace you onto a good M416 spray or some other guns are going to be there pointed for you. So I guess there could be a great loss coming from them. But yeah, getting more and more vehicles could actually get you hard covers.
I completely agree with that. Right now, everyone is just looking forward to vehicles. We have seen this, all of our players with different vehicles. But on the other hand, Team Mayavi right now is getting themselves into a fight with the sides of Team Enigma. That's Rex, if I'm not wrong. He's just holding back the position. Joker has gathered some information for him and his team back there, but it's now the decision of Enigma to get into the fight or just to move out of the fight. And I guess Team Enigma right now is just searching for some inner wall covers to walk around with. And definitely, when you get into an initial fight, I guess a inner wall cover is something that you need the most. And if you got that to walk around with, I mean, that's going to be a great decision, and you just are at the low possibilities of having casualties.
Absolutely, indeed. Even if you are going for an aggressive end at this point, teams have to have some good kind of cover so that eventually, when you are getting suppressed, you are going to be able to just res your player and get back into the fight. So that is something Team Enigma is trying to look forward. Rex is just trying to place his vehicle eventually. And if I talk about the other guys, that's going to be Sagi and. They are actually looting the school aparts area. But then if I talk about Team Orangutan, well, there we go. Team Orangutan already holding a very great compound at this point, very great area to be exact, to be precise at this point, and they are just trying to actually gatekeep the bridge. And at this point, that is going to benefit them a lot because some teams like, let's say, Chemin Esports and teams like VLT could be rotating at any time soon. And that is going to be a very beneficial point for teams like Orangutan. Well, if I talk about Team Marco's Team Forever to be exact, well, last few matches have not been that good for the teams, but let's see. OS Bolte, Kyoya-chen, Mashkash, and Nexus are going to muster their courage, get some good experiences in the lobby, and eventually, I guess this could be the map where the comeback could be there for Team Forever.
I can agree with you. On the other hand, we do have the sides of Team GodL. Right now, they are just having their complete eyes on rotation. I mean, they are just focusing on the rotations that they are taking, each and every player onto a different vehicles. I mean, that's 3 vehicles that they have. Neo leading the chats. For the moment. Right now, they will be focusing in on some good areas, good compounds to work around with, and definitely that's a primary basic need that each and everyone has. But one more thing for the audience right now, if you have some questions, we as a caster and analysts will be answering your questions. You just have to use the hashtag #AskSkyEsports at Sky Esports India, and we will make sure to clear all the doubts that you have on your mind. Right now, you talk about the sides of Team Forever. They are getting themselves into a fight once again, but what scares me right now is this player not playing into unity. On the other hand, the sides of Team 7C and Skylightz Gaming getting into a fight as well. The dip is something Savitar is working around with. The grenade didn't eventually get any kind of connections on the sides of Team Skylightz Gaming, but Savitar will be going in for some smokes as well.
Yeah, of course. That's the fight which we are going to look after right now. But eventually, if I talk about Spray God, he is also cornered onto some other area, some other fight. But eventually, Team Skylightz Gaming is trying to find a good grasp of the lobby. But look at that. Team GodL also going heads on head with Team TSM at this point. Yeah, there we go. Blaze actually manages to put one down at this point, and that was interesting. Now Z-God and Gil has to push in, or either they just have to fall back. That's could be the strategy. And yeah, they decides to fall back at this point. There could be a great casualty coming for the team, but now they are going to charge in very, very soon. Let's see. Shadow OG with that M16 can actually give a great level of damage, and yeah, there we go. Neo OK has been picked off. That's a great loss for Team GodL initially, and if I'm not wrong, 16 teams, 60 players are still surviving in the lobby. SG's new player manages to put one down from the nade. That's interesting, but GodL, Gil and Z-God has to partialate, has to actually say goodbye to Neo, and now they are just trying to push forward in the zone. Gil has been tagged out quite rapidly, but yeah, this might be the case when he actually manages to, let's say, be safe at this point and eventually bounce back once in the fight. If I talk about the lower areas, look at the second side coming up. We have Team 7C retaliating at this point. Sarang has been a great loss for the team, but yeah, Spray God manages to put one down. Gamla Boy has also been taken down. That's a 3v3 equalizer coming up for the teams.
On the other hand, what is happening?
Oh.
7C Spray God, he is waiting. They already have lost Sarang, and right now Spray God has all his areas set on the sides of Team Celsius. And back there were just some sides of vehicle that we did saw rotating. But right now, Skylightz Gaming and 7C getting into a fight in the areas of Pochinki, where we almost see one more team. That's going to be the sides of Team Celsius even. So it's going to be a deciding factor of which team is going to dominate the areas of Pochinki. New player with that grenade tried his level best to get a connection, but eventually that grenade didn't mark any connection. He do have one more grenade to play around with, and I would say just go in, just go for that grenade, my friend. We do want to see some players getting down because of that grenade. Out of all that being said and done, we do have the sides of Team Enigma. Team Mayavi, Joker, well, I guess a while ago we saw them getting into a fight, but Team Enigma decided to disengage, and right now Vixie is being caught. He's been dealing a lot of damage. Shaggy, that was a beautiful spray, but Vixie will be managing to run for his life and get himself to a safer position to patch himself up completely.
Yeah, I mean, from the past two matches, we have seen Team Celsius playing it really very safe for the first few zones, and eventually they just bounce back and put that carnage into perspective. In the last match, they were managing to put that carnage into perspective, but eventually the chicken was taken away by the hands of Team Skylightz Gaming. It was interesting. The first match was into their favor. So let's see, is it going to be again the history being repeated at this point? Because Team Celsius is here with the 4-man power. They have not lost any good guy. Vixie was damaged out, but eventually they have a center point in the zone. That's interesting. I guess we are going to wait for the next string to come in, next shift to come in at this point, and it's going to be interesting to watch that how these new shifts are going to actually, let's say, postulate new kind of gameplay for the teams. Team GodL, meanwhile, after losing one good guy, that's going to be Neo OK from their team, is actually trying to find more good gaps. But I guess eastern flank is pretty much empty at this point. School Aparts, Rozok is somewhat of a good area where the zone could be there. Oh, the zone has fallen to the western banks, and there we go. Now Team GodL has to push in onto that area, and teams like Team Entity coming from the zone at this point has to be in the zone. Eventually, Team Enigma, teams like Orangutan, teams like EXO has to be in the zone, and that is something they have to work through. Meanwhile, if I talk about teams like Soul, well, they have got a very good grasp of the lobby, and they are going to get that carnage into their perspective eventually, because having ruins into your cover is again going to assist you a lot in terms of fight.
Right now, if you talk about the sides of Team GodL, I guess the only wrong decision is working around with that damaged vehicle. You don't really do that, and if you do that, you know you are risking a lot of things, risking one entire map of Erangel that can cause a lot of problems. But on the other hand, each and every team right now is just running a race of marathon, where the first one that wins the marathon gets a bigger chunk of the play zone. Right now, you see that, right? The sides of Team OG, I just saw them a while ago did believe that he could climb up the bridge, but right now he is all set to his vehicle and paying due respect to the play zone that he needs to. But on the other hand, you have the sides of Team GodL as well. They found someone nearby, and that's the reason I guess they are just waiting for some more information. A 1-2 split is what we do see them, but holding a shack once again can cause a lot of troubles.
The troubles, the trouble is going to be interesting to watch for us at this point. If I talk about Soul Pew Pew, well, he is going out with M16A4 single tap shots, going out with that holographic sight at this point. He is unable to spot anyone at this point, but yeah, Gil could be managing to spot him out, because there might be a good scope from Team GodL at this point. Let's see what eventually happens. Meanwhile, Team Chemin Esports Delta PG is able to put one more down from Team 8-bit. I guess that's a great loss for Team 8-bit. Look at that. Tsunami has been knocked out. Juicy, meanwhile, remaining onto the covers. If I talk about, let's say, Raid, well, he's also trying trying to retaliate. He has a nade into his perspective. I guess he's just waiting for a rotation or a push in to come in, and he will just cook up the nade, and then eventually when the cards of team came in, Esports will slam in, the nade could actually burn some out. That's a great strategy coming from team 8-bit at this point, but eventually the slam in was not there because it's of course the third zone coming up. You don't want to slam in at this point barehanded, and eventually if you don't have any kind of great knocks, let's say 2 or 3 knocks, you should not push in, and that is something team Cayman Esports is working on at this point. And meanwhile, getting 2 frags in their perspective, it's a great start for team Cayman.
To completely agree with that. Right now, Chemin is looking forward to get into a fight with the sides of Team 7C. They are just hungry for frags. You see them, right? They are just waiting for that one opportunity where they can take at least 1 or 2 players down. Destro is holding a beautiful position up there. I mean, I really loved the way Destro is just waiting behind patiently and has just not decided to walk around with any inner wall covers. Right now, that's a great name. Papa nahi manenge. I mean, what should I be calling this player? But right now, the sides of Team 7C, I guess they have decided to not engage themselves into any kind of fight out of the zone, but play inside the zone and then get into a fight. On the other sides, we have the sides of Team TSM as well getting into a fight. I guess Shadow will find himself down to the ground and they need to revive him back as soon as possible. GodL Gil there will be trying to go. Okay, why is this player running on barefoot there? Pushparaj OP is just holding behind that position with that vehicle, but Kratos, he is in between both of this player. This sandwiching situation can cause him a lot of troubles.
The sandwich situation coming up at this point can be a lot of troubling at this point, but yeah, there we go, the 4 zone. Meanwhile, it's going to shrink in about 20 seconds. I guess Team 8-bit and Team 7C are not going to let go each other at this point, but Team Celsius is already going to pressurize Team 7C anytime soon. But let's see eventually what happens. 50 more meters to travel for Team 8-bit, but I guess a great number of casualty could be there. And eventually Team VLT is getting contested. Kratos has been picked off, and that's a great start for Team GodL after losing Neo. Okay, I guess this is the kind of motivation they were requiring, and yeah, that's what happened. Pukar has been picked off meanwhile from the hands of Team 8-bit. Right, that's interesting. They have got one initial tag. They are going to get backstabbed. Look at that, Somraj from the back foot areas with that good deep in 28 shots coming up. He manages to put one down. That's the IGL working with the charm at this point. But let's see what Stray God does. He is going for that survival. That's interesting. But Team 8-bit could be contesting at that point. Yeah, he look at that. Stray God also trying to survive. Prince has been picked off. Team 7C meanwhile looking very decimated at this point.
Everyone is just trying to go and give their best. Team 8-bit out of the zone. 1 player, well yes, they do have 1 player inside the zone, but the 3 players are just trying to build as much pressure as they can on the sides of Team 7C. And right now, Team 7C surviving is something that I feel is not going to happen. There you go. Spray God is the last surviving player, and right now he is out in the blues. Juicy any moment can just catch him off guard, and that will be done and dusted for the sides of Team 7C. If luckily he has a vehicle, no, I guess he didn't have a vehicle to play around with as well. Spray God is down to the ground. On the other hand, we have the sides of Team TSM getting into a fight. Blaze OP is being eliminated completely. The 3 surviving players, Shadow, Ninja, and Aqua Nox are the only hopes for the players, but Aquanox is being caught as well. He is being dealing with a lot of damage. Max Curse, oh my god, AKM with such a heavy scope, and he is trying to blast that vehicle and just take one more finish into his account. On the other hand, you talk about Soul Player 3, he will be trying his level best to take one more player down. That's gonna be Pushparaj OP there. He has been hitting back a lot of damage, but instantly pops up a health kit and patch himself up completely. Right now, the 2 surviving players of GodL are into a bit of difficulties, I would say, as they are out in the blues, and out in the blues is not something that you need to be at the 4th and the 5th zone.
Indeed. The zone is going to pressurize you. The players are going to gatekeep, and that's what happened. Look at that. Gil has been picked off at this point. Pushparaj OP is on the backdrop areas. Meanwhile, if I talk about Team Enigma getting contested by the hands of Team Forever, well, there we go. The smokes are there. Z-God, meanwhile, has pushed in. That's a great thing for them, but eventually, look at that. Pushparaj is not going to survive. Gil has been there right now. Revival could be possible at this point, but let's see. Eventually, he has to heal himself, patch himself firstly, and then eventually go for that revival. That's interesting to watch, but eventually, if I talk about Team Soul Player 3, well, he is going to scout more and more location, and if I talk about Team Forever, well, they are going ham on to some other squads which are there in the lobby. It's going to be interesting to watch that how the fights are going to retaliate. Gil meanwhile getting that revival. That's interesting to watch, but eventually they are 13 more meters away from the zone, so of course the zone is going to pressurize them a lot, but this is the 4th zone. I guess they could bear with it, but yeah, Team Forever, that's Team Forever still trying to retaliate at this point, throwing some smokes, throwing some nades at this moment, so that eventually Team Enigma could feed the pressure, and they have got 4 amazing frags, going for the 5th one also.
What a match it has been. The play zone once again is trying to decimate as many players as it can. Enigma, the last surviving player, is just maintaining a trigger discipline. Not even moving a muscle right now, but he can be spotted any moment. I guess he did. I guess he did. They are just waiting in front of face. Why? Whoa. Oh my god. Enigma, I do agree the fact of having a trigger discipline, but if this is trigger discipline, please, what did I just see right now? Enigma did had a chance of taking one player down. At least one finish is what he could have registered for himself, but nevertheless, he is just eliminated completely. On the other hand, you talk about Soul and TSM getting into a fight. Shadow is really hitting back a lot of damage on himself. He is just holding behind a position. Grenades are causing a lot of chaos down there, but Akshat, he is going further. Shadow OG is just hiding himself behind the shadows right now, but Aquanox is down to the ground. Shadow OG comes for the 1v1 situation. Akshat will manage to take him down, and right now Goblin from behind is just covering as much as he can. Player 3 will be confirming, and that's 2 for the sides of Team Soul, whereas Ninja Chod is the last surviving player with that grenade. Akshat is not sure of what position Ninja Chod is holding. No, oh my god, there you go. The grenade will be dishing a lot of damage back there, but Akshat will be just moving forward with that vehicle. Raider, oh my god, what is happening in this map of Rectangle?
Indeed, the carnage which is getting set forth. Look at that. Pew Pew manages to put one more down, and just like that, Team TSM has been decimated. But with that, I guess Team Soul is going to contest it by the zone, and that is what is happening. Goblin has been picked off. The other guys are going to retaliate, but Akshat, meanwhile, has also been picked up, and that is a great thing for them. But yeah, Team EXO, meanwhile, getting that upper hand. That is interesting. Player 3 is going to be the last man standing of his team, just trying to push forward in the zone. But is it possible for them to push in right now at this moment? Look at that. N number of fights are going to be there. N number of players are going to put that spray, and Soul Akshat also goes on with the brutal blow right now. Soul player 3 manages to be in the zone, but he's the center of attraction at this point. And yeah, that's what happened. And that's going to be Team Nugget OPs. Team Nuggets Anush to OP with the backstab coming up, and teams like GodL just sneaking into the zone at this point. Team Soul has been eliminated with only 3 frags into their perspective. I guess 1 point for the position also. So that's it for Team Soul in this match. 16 points from the last 2 matches, and 4 more for this match. That's going to be only 20 for them. But eventually, teams like GodL, Forever, VLT, 8-bit, well, they are going to get contested a lot, because eventually this kind of open zone is all about the manpower at this moment.
I completely agree with that. On the other hand, Team Velocity Gaming getting eliminated. Team EXO, just their players are falling down because of the play zone. But look at the trigger discipline once again. Z-God is being patient. He is not even moving one muscle. He sees everything that is happening in front of him, but he is not just going to move a single muscle down there. On the other hand, you have the sides of Chemin Esports, 2 players down to the ground. Delta PG running low on HP, needs to patch himself up and then get himself into one more fight with the sides of Team Nugget, whereas Destro will be going in for that revival. On the other hand, Team Entity getting eliminated. Destro is reviving his player back, but what Team Nugget is doing, they are just going in for some predictable sprays inside door smoke with a hope of connecting at least 1, and there you go, not just 1 but 2 is something that they will definitely be getting. Anuj Pro will be going in for as much aggression as they can, and Chemin Esports is just into a lot of difficulties. Destro is just waiting and not giving any kind of sound to the enemies, as he know that he is really running low on his health. On the other hand, you talk about Pechan Con with that tap shots, he is trying to take down, but Z-God, what is this level of trigger discipline you have, my friend? Oh my god, OG Believe was just exactly right in front of him, but they went hand with that vehicles, and Z-God will still be holding back that position there and there.
Indeed, the kind of consistency which these teams are trying to provide, it's amazing to watch. Chemin Esports, meanwhile, getting 9 amazing flags into their consideration is going to be amazing. Papa Neymar has been picked up, I guess. And eventually, if I talk about Team Orangutan, they have got 6 amazing flags into their perspective. Team GodL just sneaking in the zone right now. Eventually, they will be contested, but it's all about the kind of zone prediction they could do, kind of, let's say, zone discipline they are going to get. Snacks have been picked off. Team EXO goes down. Team GodL, meanwhile, still surviving in the fights. It's going to be amazing. Team Orangutan is going to actually contest him out once again. I guess Trigger is there on the backdrop areas. He could be picked off at any moment, but eventually he's just trying to outperform. He's just trying to wait for the right moment eventually when he would bounce back, I guess, getting into the top 3 position. will actually be the time when he will bounce back. But eventually, look at that. He's just trying to sneak in, just trying to be in the zone. And I guess Team
No!
Orangutan's Trigger could be one
Oh
who could
my
actually just spot him out.
god!
And yeah, there we go. Celsius Apollo with another brutal nade onto Team Orangutan. Well, I have to say a lot of congratulations to Team Celsius eventually for getting
No!
3 times in a row, getting that zone into their perspective. It's interesting. Look
No!
at that.
Oh my
He was
god!
about to get crushed by that vehicle, but he was eventually unable to crush. And then Trigger comes up with a brutal bow. He has got 5 amazing finishes. Look at that. The number of finishes he has got at this point is going to be amazing to watch.
Oh my god, Z-God, what was that? He was running low on HP as the blue zone was biting him really hard, and that's where everything went wrong for him. On the other hand, you talk about Chemin Esports, they are really looking good, and there you go. OG Ash is down to the ground right now. Celsius Vixie will be trying his level best to just put that vehicle on fire once again and completely eliminate. But there you go, the dreams of Celsius Dreams has been shattered completely. He is just not down to the ground but eliminated there and there. Max is trying his level best to go in and completely eliminate, and there you go, that's done and dusted. But right now, Chemin Esports have all their eyes set on Celsius Max, and there you go, 420 OP will be taking one down. Team Orangutan getting eliminated completely. Destro is trying his level best to take down the players of 8-bit as well, but the lower ground disadvantage is something that Team 8-bit needs to be really careful about. The grenade is being popped off from the sides of Chemin Esports. Destro will not be getting, I guess, any kind of connection, but Destro will be revealing himself after that drop shot, and that's where Destro has to depart. Right now, if you talk about the sides of Team 8-bit, they are looking good with 6 finishes for themselves, but what not is good is the position they are holding. Juicy is being caught as well. Apollo, what Team Celsius can manage and take this victory for themselves. Madman, his location is compromised, and it's a 1v2 situation where Madman is out of zone. Team Celsius has a great chunk of zone to play around with, and I guess that's done, right? That's done.
Indeed. I guess the victory is there for them. And yeah, of course, he didn't give his finish right now. So I guess with 5 amazing finishes, Team Celsius is back in the form, back-to-back winning 2 maps of Erangel. It's going to be interesting for them right now. And that's a great start for teams like Team Celsius Esports, which is coming from the back and forth areas, trying to retaliate. In the semi-finale, we saw they were unable to get some good graphs in the initial days, but eventually they were able to get qualified at hashtag 3 or 4 position. It was very interesting to watch that how these teams are trying to put that carnage into the perspective. But yeah, Team Celsius once again with a brutal blow, once again with a brutal winner chicken dinner for them. It was very interesting that how they retaliated, how they took that fight into their consideration. Quite a good chicken dinner, guys, for them. But eventually, I guess if we talk about the number of finishes they have got in this map, well, only 5 finishes for them and 15 points for the version. It's a decent thing. They are maintaining their consistency. They are getting 20 points in a single match. That's a great thing. Eventually, few teams are unable to get that also at this point. But yeah, I guess they could do a lot more damage in the lobby at this point.
Team Celsius is looking so good. I mean, the day is really so good for them. And moreover, they are just trying their level best to get as much as they can on the very first day of AMD Presents Sky Esports Grand Slam. The grand finale is first day. What a match it has been. I mean,
Indeed.
I'm really excited, but my camera is not working into my favor. I mean, nothing is working into my favor today. Everything is just going opposite. But the matches, they are just so amazing to watch. This map of Erangel was something similar to the very first map, I would say. I mean, the way it has been, it was something similar, but at the same time, what different was the strategies.
I would like to say some few good strategies were there by teams like Team Soul, which actually occupied the area of Team Ruins, eventually getting that zone into their favor for the 4th and 5th zone. But then the zone shifted. They were tugged into the battle of Team TSM and Team Soul, and eventually Team TSM manages to put them down, manages to backstab them, and eventually the rotation was actually cut short by some other teams like EXO. Then finally they were picked up by some other teams like Chemin Esports, and I guess that was Soul's player 3 which was picked up. But eventually that was the whole situation coming up for Team Soul. But yeah, teams like Chemin Esports coming from the backdrop areas, coming from, let's say, the area of military base, bouncing back onto the area of Georgipol. It was very interesting. It was very interesting that how these teams were trying to formulate the perspective, but eventually they were picked off at hashtag 3. It was very interesting that how the battle was formulated for the team. They tried a very good rotations. Initially, they actually picked up Billion and Daljit from Team Velocity. It was a great loss for that team, but then Team Velocity Well, they were trying to survive, but then GodL's, I guess Z God, if I'm not wrong, that was the one who actually picked one more frag from the team when they were trying to cross that little water body coming in the backdrop areas of Georgie Pool. So these were some few strategies which we were seeing by the teams, but yeah, it was that every bit of the fights were interesting to be exact. But now I guess we are going to wait for the fourth map coming on very, very soon.
This highlight just gives a flashback of what exactly has happened. What an amazing Destro there. I mean, look at Chemin Esports right now. The position they were holding was really amazing. And now with the advantage of zone, the higher ground advantage, I just thought for a moment that yes, Chemin Esports can make it work into their favor. But what Celsius did at this moment was completely amazing. The greater chunk of zone that they had into their favor was definitely one hell of an advantage for them. And at that moment, Madman was the last surviving player. Right now, when we look at what happened at the end, Madman very well knew that it was not possible for him to go to the zone, and what he did was just waited patiently for the play zone to eat him up and not give any finish to
Indeed.
the enemies, but that eventually didn't happen. Star of the match, well, Trigger for going all out, 6 finishes, Delta PG for the best companion, 2 revivals, and Celsius Apollo. That's gonna be the final elimination, and I guess for the first time we do have 3 of the players from 3 different teams.
It's interesting to watch the diversity which is these lobby are going to put forward right now. Meanwhile, if I talk about the most aggressive player of the lobby, that could be Trigger to be exact, with getting 6 amazing finishes. If I talk about the most, let's say, uh, passive and let's say supportive player, that could be Delta because he has got 2 revivals into the points. Health restore points are also looking good. Survival time is also very, very good for Team Chemin Esports Delta PG. It was interesting to watch that how this player backstabbed some teams and eventually got a good frag into his perspective. But yeah, if we talk about Celsius Apollo, he was the final nail into the coffin. This was the guy through which I guess let's say Team Celsius got that victory into the perspective. But yeah, 4 finishes for him, 1 assist, distance traveled 7866. That's going to be a huge number of points for them. Survival time is also really very good for the team because eventually this was the last team which actually survived and saw that winner chicken dinner coming from the coming for them. Eventually, if I talk about the MVP of the map, well, that's going to be OG's Trigger. That's going to be Team Orangutan's Trigger at this point. He has got 6 amazing fresh and the contribution which he provided for his teammates. Eventually, even after eliminating GodL Z God, that's going to be 75% after the match number 3. It's interesting, guys. It's interesting.
Everything is interesting. Whatever is happening right now is just getting things hyped up more and more. This AMD Sky Esports Grand Slam Grand Finale is as grand as its name. What a way to eventually start the day. It's just very first day, and what has happened? 3 maps are done. Just how we just always keep on saying that time flies so fast. 3 maps are done, and within a few more time the first day will come to an end. What should I be saying on this is something that I am really not understanding. But the upcoming map, once again, it's going to be the map of Miramar. Once
Uh,
again, the open sand dunes. Once again, the vehicles. Once again, the height advantage. But what is going to be different is the fly path and the play zone.
Well, I guess that's the decider of the match eventually because the flight path, the first ever flight path which comes actually decides that how the leaderboard is going to turn out. But yeah, there we go. About the leaderboard, we have Team Celsius Esports meanwhile getting that winner chicken dinner into their perspective, getting 20 points into their favor. If I talk about the second runner-up position, that's going to be the runner-up position. It has been occupied by Team Chemin Esports. Well, we saw Team 8-bit going out at runner-up position, but the number of frags which Team Chemin put out, look at that, 10 frags for them and 10 for the position point. That is interesting, and that is why they are at hashtag 2 at this point. Team 8-bit meanwhile with 18 points. Team Nugget, well, the consistency of this team is absolutely lovable at this point. 15 points from them. That's interesting. 7 frags, and the rest of the team, rest of the points, shall I say, 8 points for the position. Orangutan Gaming going out with 14 points. That's also interesting. Team EXO 8 points. Team Forever 6 points. Godlike with 5 points. That was interesting because they got a good number of, let's say, position points. They got 4 points for the position. That was interesting. Team Soul going out at hashtag 9 or 10 if I'm not wrong. But yeah, maintaining that consistency in terms of finishes, that was interesting. 3 frags for them. It was good. I guess Team Godlike's player were tagged out, and Team TSM also was tagged out by them. So Skylightz Gaming with 3 points, Velocity with only 2 points, Team TSM with only 2 points, 7C Esports with only 2 points. But what would you like to talk about these teams which have got 0 points? Entity, Mayavi, and Enigma.
They need at least some points in a specific map. We have seen the sides of Team Celsius running away with points, and I am going to use the word running away with point because they got two chicken dinners for themselves, and they are just running and running. And trust me, if Celsius right now on today's day get one more, they can just cross that 75 to 80 points. I mean, look at that. Celsius Esports with a total of 58 position points, what they got is 42. Finishes is 16. With three matches played, they got two chicken dinners for themselves. On the second position, we have Chemin Esports with a total of 36. Calculating the difference between both of this team, even one good map for Celsius Esports can be devastating for all other teams.
Well, I guess this team is actually aiming for the 60-80 points, which they were actually aiming for in the start of the map. But yeah, they have got good 58 points at this point. Eventually, after crossing just three matches, we are going to see three more maps of the day number one. Well, let's see how Team Celsius Esports is going to play their role. But we have another team trying to contest for that location. That's going to be Chemin Esports lagging behind with 22 points. And if we talk about teams like 8-Bit, eventually playing three maps, well, they have got only 32 points. I guess they are lacking behind with the 26 points at this moment. But eventually, if I talk about Skylightz Gaming, 30 points for them. That's good. They have got a victory, but I guess the consistency which is required in the lobby, we again and again always call about the consistency. Well, that is actually lacking behind at this point. If I talk about teams like, let's say, Seoul with 20 points, maintaining their firm position in the first page was not enough for the team, and now they are back on the back page. Team Seoul with 20 points, Orangutan with 19 points. Well, I would like to see teams like Orangutan once again bouncing back because they were the leaderboard table toppers if I talk about the semi finale. But yes, this is the grand finale where the best of the best teams are going to fight it out. Best of the best of the teams are trying to retaliate. So let's see how the points table is going to turn out for Team Orangutan. Eventually, this is just the start. We are crossing three matches and 39 matches are more left in the lobby. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Godlike 17 points, 7C 15 points, and the back table points are gonna be like this: Enigma 14 points, Mayavi 9 points, Forever 6 points, Velocity going out at 16 with only 5 points at this moment.
It's just best versus the best. The best team fighting out with the best team decides the team that is the best. I mean, looking at the points table right now, the team Celsius has accumulated a total of 58 for themselves, whereas Velocity, the last team right now that we have, has accumulated 5 points for themselves. The sides of team Forever, team Velocity, there is just one single thing that is not working to their favor, and that can be just framed like after them having one or two casualties, the team is not able to give their best, and that's exactly what is happening. We saw them having early casualties. We saw this players going down. I mean, one player was isolated and he was just down to the ground, and that's where all the difficulties begin. And that's why I just keep on saying that playing together, playing with someone you trust the most, synergy you have with your teammates is something that you need the most at this point of time.
Indeed, after all, you are going to put 25-30 minutes of your whole courage into the map right now. And this kind of lobby is at stake. The bragging rights of winning the Grand Slam is going to be there. So, of course, you have to have that synergy. You have to have that kind of confidence into your teammates, which are going to be there playing with you for the 25 minutes, 30 minutes of the battle which is going to be there. And fighting in the best of the best lobby, which is going to be here right now. So, it's going to be interesting to watch that how further these teams are going to retaliate, how the point system is going to go up and down, up and down. Well, that is something we have to look after, and it's going to be very amazing to eventually watch the map of Miramar come in at this moment, because the sniper shots, because the DMR getting into action, the mid-range fights, the long-range fight which are going to be there. Well, I guess the close-range battles are pretty far less, and the third parties are there more and more. Fourth parties are there. Eventually, vehicles get tumbled, the vehicle gets burst. It's very interesting to watch the map of Miramar, because I guess after the first or second zone, not even a single second of the fights are there. Not even a single second is actually empty. Fights are there, and number of kill feed is going to be there right now. So I guess these 16 teams, 64 players are going to head out into a very great battle into the map of Miramar.
To completely miss those sniper and DMR actions. I mean, yeah, we saw one when 94 shot it was, I guess, if I'm not wrong, on the map of Miramar previously, but M24, Car 98. I mean, this is something that I've been missing for Miramar. Is just all about the height advantage that you have from your enemies. Miramar is all about the pinpoint rotation that you take apart from dashing into enemies. Miramar is all about being stable with all the vehicles that you have. And if you are able to excel each and everything, I guess the map of Miramar can work into your favor. But one more thing that you really need to be careful about on this map is clearance of your back. there is not just a third party, but there are a number of parties happening. I do completely agree that we are the one hosting the parties, but it's just this like fourth party, fifth party, sixth party. It's just parties and parties happening all over.
A lot of carnage is gonna be there in the map of Miramar. You never know from where the players are going to pop from, where the rotation is gonna be there, and from which location the zone is going to shift on, and which compound is gonna be in the zone or not. Well, it's one hell of a fight coming up in the map of Miramar. That is why I guess we all like the map of Miramar, because eventually Erangel is a mixture of all the maps which we have in the map of BGMI, in the game of BGMI, where Sanok, the grass of Sanok is there, well, the dunes of Erangel, dunes of Miramar is gonna be there, compounds of Erangel as per the match is gonna be there, but the map of Miramar is something else. We don't have the grasses as per required. All of the map is actually filled with sand dunes, with sand, and eventually those let's say brownish areas are going to expose you a lot, going to expose the team a lot, and eventually I guess that is why the mid-range and long-range fights are there, because there are the map of Miramar is lacking behind in terms of, let's say, compounds, good covers, good areas to fight back, good vehicles to be exact. So it's going to be interesting to watch that how these teams are going to retaliate with that kind of consistency and that kind of lobby, because leaderboard is something they have to look after at this point.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, after everything that you do the entire day, the only thing that gives you satisfaction is seeing yourself in the first five or first six in the leaderboard, right? So yeah, that is something that you need to be really careful about. But before heading into the map of Miramar, I would love to see these player cams. The excitement of Miramar. Is something that just can be readable by their faces. But Raider, anything, any prediction before this flight path comes in?
I would not. I would like to predict that the zone could be there into the area of Chumasara, and I would like to see the fights coming from that area, because a lot of ridges, a lot of compound, a lot of covers are there at this point. But yeah, the fights will be there amplified eventually. But let's see how Team TSM is going to rep themselves, eventually getting some good TDMs and getting some good in-lobby fights coming up. And there we go. The diagonal flight path is here. It's an interesting one. The 50-50 ratio is going to be maintained in the map of Miramar, starting from Porto Paraíso, going to end in the area of Ruins and Trader Park. Well, we have a lot of hot drops being covered. That's going to be Los Lunes, La Bendita, Chumasara being covered, Montenuovo being easily accessible, El Pozo a good drop for Team Skylightz Gaming. Eventually, Pecado could be the good drop, San Martin, Hacienda, Junkyard. Well, I guess, Darshita, each and every hot drop is pretty much covered at this point, and teams are going to get their loots effectively. But yeah, clashes will be there for sure.
Absolutely, with this upcoming fly path, these teams got a good opportunity to go anywhere they want. I mean, you got to go somewhere near Campo Militar. I mean, you need to take a vehicle, but you can definitely fly to your primary drop location. Right now, Impala, well, there you can see the sides of Team Entity. On the other hand, each and everyone is looking at a slow pace map. I mean, this map of Miramar is always a fast paced gameplay that we always come across with, but right now, everyone is just at a complete pace. The down areas of loss. Oh my god!
Look at
I,
that.
oh my god! The first ever play zone is completely to the eastern side, and somewhere I do wish a water zone in the map of Miramar. I mean, please just show me that. I have been waiting for it since a long time.
Of course, that would be amazing. But eventually, I would like to say teams like Team Nugget is very good at holding the eastern banks. Eventually, we have seen them outperforming every other team in the semi-finale. Teams like Entity is already in the zone, which are known for their rotations in the map of Miramar. So that's a great thing that they already have the first zone into their consideration. They could actually just plan it out where they are going to push in. And if we talk about Team GodL, well, they have got Z-God, Gil, Pushparaj, OP, and Neo OK once again into their roster at this point. And eventually, they are just splitting and just dropping and just looting at this point, eventually getting good loot, and then going to get, let's say, constricted into a fight right now, and that would be amazing to watch. But yeah, Z-God just flying around and getting some good loot eventually, so that the casualties could be put forth. In the last match, we saw Z-God decimating one guy from Team VLT. Eventually, Team GodL was unable to get some good frags into their perspective, but I guess this could be the comeback map where Team GodL likes to outperform. And this is the area of Hashi and the Del Petron, where Pushparaj OP and the other guys are just trying to muster their loot, and eventually they will bounce back for sure. Well, that is something which we are eagerly waiting for, bouncing back and the comeback of those teams which are unable to perform in the first three matches. That is what I'm waiting for.
Everyone is right now. Everyone needs to set a benchmark for themselves, so that at the end of the day they are really satisfied of what position they are holding on the overall leaderboards. But talking about God, like, I just felt for a moment that there's some player lurking around nearby them, but no, I guess That's my bad. There's no one right now. Everything is completely at a peace. Nothing happening. No player going down. No initial drop clashes happening. No player fighting it out with a pistol or a shotgun that we are really excited to see. On the other sides, we do have that's Skylightz Gaming, Pukar, Gamla Boy Somraj, and new player. I mean, just reveal your identity, my friend. I really want to know who you are. But jokes apart, right now they are looking good with everything that they have: level 2 helmet, level 2 armor, backpack, all that they need, right?
Indeed, they are getting a good loot in the areas of El Pozo. Well,